of writing it down helped me remember it.
Yeah,
This
I can do that with
is the
typing.
self-call-out post, by the way. This is
The
the
what?
ones that were used in this
Oh.
notebook before I got it out for D&D.
Alright, well,
Hello,
I'm just gonna
everybody.
hope Autohost does its job for once, because there's no
I'm
host
Hobble,
button anymore.
and we
why would there
are
be a host
streaming.
There's no host button.
We are streaming D&D tonight because it's Tuesday. I sound a little funky monkey because my
Watch,
throat is
there's
weird.
totally a host button.
Yeah, Perfectus just hosted me.
Okay.
I also do not have a host button.
I have one.
I also do not have a host
Everybody, go look and see if you have a host button. Everybody, go look.
Is that like
I
a
moved
Franker?
mine.
know how to solve this.
Is that like a Franker plugin that I just didn't realize it was, or did
It
Twitch
is
change
a
something?
plugin. Yes.
Ah, that would be why I have it.
Which plugin?
I should. I have both.
I do too, which is why layouts.
They have changed the layout so that my chat is not. There we go. This. Then we do.
You might also be able to do /host.
Yeah, but I have to be in my own chat to slash.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Jill's is
That's
hosting
what I
me.
mean.
Yay.
Where's the host button?
Thanks, I hate
I
it.
don't know.
It's not a better
no, Cat.
TTV setting, is it?
Don't know.
I thought it was Frankerface, but it might be BTTV.
I thought they both did it.
Ah,
Yeah, because it's not on Franker Z, because that's all I got, and it's not. Because it's not on Franker Z, because that's all I got, and it's not there. Closed captioning, translation.
nah, better TTV settings.
Closed captioning, translation.
Dark theme. Channel point.
Oh, that's the. Thanks for the host, Jills. It popped up all of a sudden. Or the follow?
Oh, popping
Pims.
up, huh?
Oh,
That's appropriate. That's on brand.
It is in fact a BTTV thing,
thanks,
and it was
Pims, for
defaulted
the
to off
follow.
for some reason. So,
Thanks, Pims, for the follow.
can I have the host button back, please?
Pim's nips, like cheese nips, but mapler.
Okay.
Oh god, no.
Alright, it's being dumb. I'm just gonna hope Autohost did its job for the first time in a month. So,
I just jumped in dashboard and did it there.
I'm lazy. I already have a 4 tabs open, so. Anyway, so this is supposed. This is the Dungeons and the Dragons.
If you're not here for the Dungeons and the Dragons, you're in the wrong classroom.
Oh
Hell,
god.
if you're not here for the dragons, you're in here in the wrong class. Oh, no. Yep.
Right. So yeah.
Not technically here yet.
Those of you that are more observant, yeah, there's a 5th person in the call, but we'll get to that later. So y'all want to go ahead and do a roll for recap?
I don't like the fact that they got rid of the host button. It's stupid.
Yeah, I'll fight with that more later.
Yeah, I'll with that later.
Alright, Cube rolled a 5.
Oh
so
shit, I'm gonna have
that's
to do
not
this
great.
old school, because
Jill's rolled a 7.
Someone will do worse than me. No.
5, 6,
Alright.
7. Who do we... Oh wait,
This is
it's
boding well
Cube.
for the Knights. Cube, I guess you're
Now
doing
we need
recap.
Jeff to roll an 8, apparently.
Okay. Jeff. Damn. I want the new person to recap. Anyways.
I think he was here last week.
He was in chat.
I wasn't. It would have gone badly.
So,
So this is the story so far. We came into this town. We saw a spooky haunted house. So we said, hey, let's go through that spooky haunted house. Went through it, found out that it was a smuggling ring. We took a bunch of smuggled stuff, took it back to town, sold it. Basically, got put into a sting for smuggling. Got captured by the local police. And now we are like inside guys trying to take down the smuggling ring. Is that a pretty good summation of what happened?
yeah, that pretty well sums it up. You guys also currently have a cart full of dead constructs that you want to do something with.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, that was rude.
I don't know what that something is, but I have plans for a couple of possible somethings. So,
I mean, I know a granny lady. I made friends with a
I
granny lady.
also would just like to point out when it comes to my notes for that, the last one is literally, it's players, God knows what they're gonna do with this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Construct porn.
I have a...
Just all the time.
Construct porn.
I've got a... So, yeah. Anyone want to add anything about stuff, or just want to get right into it?
Construct porn. What?
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 Why? No. Stop.
No, I will not stop. You can't make me.
Hobble is
Hey.
on the receiving end of constructive criticism.
That Hobble does not listen to. You can't control me.
When you said on the receiving end of contracts, I got nervous.
Alright, so, yeah. You guys are just making your way off of, Zendros' ship. You have a cart that she asked you to return back to the stable master before the end of the day, but it is currently full of essentially one construct Lego kit that's like in like 4 pieces, and one that's just like when you open the box, but the bags are all mixed together. So, what would you like to do?
What time of day is it?
Noonish. So,
Okay.
It's time to start
Well.
drinking.
It's time to go have tea and crumpets while we discuss weird constructs with a granny lady, unless someone else has a different idea.
No, I was riding along with the granny lady investigations, so that was. I'm with you.
Okay.
I take it you're making your way to the Dwarven Anvil then?
Yes, we
Yeah,
are
to
making our way downtown. Granny's walking fast.
Yeah. Faces past, and I'm forge bound.
Wow.
Alright,
Wow.
yeah. So, you go there. It is actually this building down here. It's number 17.
Uh-huh.
You get there. The young male human is again working away at the anvil. He's just kind of appears to be making a couple of fishing spears. So
Okay.
that's fun.
Uh-huh.
You just go inside, and what is her name again? Malfira.
Granny Smith.
Yep, Malfira is
Granny Smith, yeah.
Yep, is inside at the front of the counter doing business, and as she wraps up with the person in front of you all, who appears to be buying some fishing weights for a net, she greets you
Found an
courteously,
angel hair from the last time.
and wants to know how she can help you. So,
Well, I have something you may find interesting. On I the grandson and I we went on trip, and
Excuse me.
on trip
Ooh, that helped a lot.
we encountered some bandits on the road, and the bandits had interesting devices made from interesting metal. I thought you might be able to look at it and tell me if there's something special that we can do with it, because when I hack at it with axe, it did not it did not get cut as much as I thought it should. My axe bounced off.
Was there like a small piece or something that I could carry that?
the one that's spare parts, yeah, there you can easily get one of the plates of armor off of it.
I was gonna say, we literally blew one into pieces.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them is just a pile of spare parts. So.
I'm curious what you think of this, Granny Smith.
I put it on the counter when she says this.
Well, let me take a look. She kind of picks up, looks it over, flicks it a couple of times. I'll be right back. And she goes outside, grabs a couple of miscellaneous forge tools, comes back inside, takes a file, tries to make a dent, and just sees it glance off. Just grabs a harder file again, and just goes through a series of
That was a bad joke.
different strength and toughness files, trying to make a mark, and every time it just glances off. She kind of takes a second. Well, it looks to be bronze, but I've never seen bronze react to, well, anything like that.
Hmm.
That's...
So you think is magic then?
It's either magic or a heck of a heat treat. And, well, even a good heat treat can't do this.
You hear that, Sal? Is they were magic bugs. This is why they hurt so much.
I love that very much.
What do you mean devices that these are from? Like creatures, or were they like made, or what?
I assume we have the other one in a cart.
Yeah.
It's in a
I
couple.
just,
It's in like repeat.
Take the
Yeah.
sheet off of it.
would you like to come and see? It's outside.
Yes, actually, I'm curious.
It definitely won't fit in here.
She comes outside and takes a look. Oh, well, that's interesting.
When it was whole, it was very violent.
I can see that. It looks like it has a bit of a bite to it.
If
Oh
you
God.
look on the other side,
what-
it is also covered in my blood.
Well, that's macabre. What was that guy's name? Jessica. She kind of yells back to her son. That boat mechanic, you know. What was his name again?
Boat or
Oh,
butt?
you. Where I had the paper. Where'd it go? There it is. It's in front of me. Sorry, we're starting to mix book and my stuff now. This is fun.
Get right? Boat mechanic.
Yeah, you mean Jeb over at the nautical novel, whatever he named it. Yeah. Is he open today? I think so. All right. Well, there's actually a shop in town that deals with some of the boat stuff. Well, you know, sales, repairs, upgrades. Apparently they have some experience with this kind of thing. It might be worth checking out.
Okay.
I'm not sure
Thank
if
you for advice. I will ask them.
and she directs you to the building with the T-lay on it.
Hey,
Cause
boats.
I made a construct subplot and now I'm going with it. Alright, I can just put the book away.
Pro
I don't
tip:
need it.
don't tell us what's your plots and what's the book's plots, and we won't know.
It's fine.
But I don't want to go on the subplot. That's a joke. It's a kid joke.
Yeah. So you get to the building, and there's like the sign out front. It's okay. It's like an oceanscape, and it has like this little like two-masted boat on it. But
I just
also
needed
coming
you
out of
to
the
know.
back of it
I love
has kind of like a wind vane. But you know those things on weather vanes with like the three balls on it that spin to catch the wind speed.
Mhm.
It's got one of those that appears to be driving a mechanism in the sign, so the boat looks like it's going up and down some waves.
Cool,
That's
Weird.
really cool.
but cool.
These mechanic
And,
nerds are weird.
What's his nuts say the guy's name was that I'm looking for?
He said Jeb.
Okay.
So
He's not gonna be Jeb right down the
motion
bayou.
to Sal and I say, "Come along, Sal. We will ask them. Bring your pocket full of bronze Legos, and we will Lego? What is, small building blocks. And let's talk to the man.
I pick up the plate and follow.
Okay.
all right.
I make like I'm
So
a
as
bronze crab at one point.
Yeah.
All right. As you go inside, you go into what is almost like a, for lack of a better term, like a model showroom.
Thank you. I appreciate it. How
Like
are you doing,
every
geeky?
couple of feet, there's like a pillar with a model boat on it, and for the most
I
part,
said
all of the boats
geeky, not
around
geeky.
look identical but each one has like one very unique detail.
Okay.
Like one has a
Closed
figurehead that's
captioning is
carved
having a
to look like
minor
a red
problem
dragon.
understanding me right
One
now.
has sails that actually kind of look like a dragon weave, and there's just very interesting stuff just on each of the boats, but they're all one-off. And as you kind of are walking around, you see sitting at a desk near the door a halfling in a rather nice suit, kind of trying to look forward and appealing.
Thanks for the host,
sees you all
Sean.
walk in,
I
hops up, fixes
hope
his
you
bow
had an
tie
easier
before
time
he gets
finding
over
that
you.
button than the rest of us did.
Hello, I'm Jebediah Clocktalk. Okay, take two. Greetings.
Can't
My name
pronounce
is
his own name.
Jebediah Clocktopper, owner of Clocktopper's Nautical Nautics. Nautilties, not nautics. Wow, I should have practiced saying that. Cool, I made a tongue twister.
This is all
right.
character.
Probably, not really. No.
That's awesome. Hello. My name is Elena. I am friends with Mofira Smith. From up the road, and she suggested when I took an interesting
how is
trinket
she
that
liking it so far?
I found to her. She said that you might be able to tell me more.
You see him kind of hesitate on the name for a second.
Granny Smith from blacksmith shop.
Which town?
This one?
Here. From.
One sec. Oh, right. Saltmarsh. All right. Right, the blacksmith. Sorry. Sorry. Forgive me. I get a lot of, well, see for yourself. And kind of motions over towards the window. That is not the Saltmarsh skyline you see.
Wizard, there's nerd shit going on in here.
Planar buttholes?
Do I detect nerd shit?
Do I detect
yes.
planar buttholes? I don't have that ability. Never mind. Don't answer that question.
He just kind of looks over. It's easier than franchising. Yeah, it's easier than franchising.
It's hard to stop. Like at that 3-hour marker when I stream it, I'm like, I gotta stop.
The layout of this room does not match the footprint of the building you went into.
It's just so good.
Excuse me, Jebediah, did you say?
Yes.
But where are we?
Well, that is a good question I did not write down. To the book. Give me a random location. I'm gonna give a tentative answer of, how is it said? Kale Land. All right, yeah, Kale Land.
Kale, like the sea stuff.
Yeah. Well, the people.
That is kelp, Sal. Is okay.
No. Yeah.
Kelp is different than kale.
It's a little bit,
but still green, so it's close enough.
Okay.
This was a bit easier than franchising. Why have multiple staffs and multiple buildings when you can just, set up a magic door and have all your business come to one place? So.
Very interesting. Well.
Anyway, you mentioned.
I am from Saltmarsh. And Granny Smith said that you may be able to tell me more about some trinkets that I found. Show himself.
I set it on the cleanest surface that I can find that will not puncture, cut, knock, or do anything to anything that looks like it's important.
Are there multiple doors into this place from other places?
Nope, one door.
Okay. So just remembers where you came from. Okay.
Well, so you see, we were traveling by cart over land back to Saltmarsh from a trip, and were attacked by bandits.
Is she playing on
and then
the new
suddenly
hybrid
pop from the
mode
ground
or the classic
these giant bronze bugs, and and I
Turn-based.
get
Sorry.
angry and I start hacking and slashing them, and my axe, it just bounces off. I do not understand. Can you tell me more about what this is?
He's kind of looking at the metal. I can't,
Nice.
but my partner can. I'll be right back. And he excuses himself, goes into a back storage room door. See
Very
a
nice.
little conversation with him and some other figure, and he comes back being followed by a gnome. Big, like almost like welding goggles with magnifiers in them in the end. A couple miscellaneous tools in hand, covered in just like grease and like grime, and
Okay.
yeah, he was in the middle of working on something. So
Uh-huh.
comes out and just kind of pushes his glasses up and I was told there might be something of the construct or magical nature out here that I might need assistance with.
Uh, I came on recommendation from Saltmarsh Granny Smith to meet Jeb, who says I should speak to you, and I tell him the story about how we were walking on the road and attacked by the
Right.
constructs.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. That's definitely not something that's common. He kind of takes a piece of metal, looks at it. Looks like a normal bronze, maybe a bronze alloy at best. Pulls out a file. It does that same
bronze an
skid
alloy?
thing. Shush. Magic exists, okay? Let me have a little bit of fun here. And you see him put the like steel file away and pull out a file that is like jet black, with just
Okay.
like a little bit of a green hue to it as the light catches it, and go to scratch, and that actually makes a mark on the bronze.
Huh.
All right, well that's interesting. It appears to have a weakness to adamantine. Not sure how you would get that with such a interesting shape. Maybe you put the enchantment on after the casting, but that's seems like a lot of work. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. What how much more of this do you have?
Well, two beasties. One is now just parts, and one is still mostly whole. Although Reba pierced it a little bit, but is still mostly there.
Do you mind if I have a look at them?
Uh, you may have to go on a little trip. They're still outside in Saltmarsh.
Oh, that's fine. It's been a while since I've been to which he kind of looks over to the other one. Which town is that? And he's like, it's the fishing town. Oh. Oh, okay. I don't think I've been there yet. Yeah, sure. I can take a step outside.
If I go through door, will I end up where I came from?
The halfling steps up. Well, yes. Let me do one thing before you do, just to make sure. He kind of goes over, says something, and there's like a little glimmer on the four corners of the door. All right. That should bind it temporarily for the next opening to Saltmarsh.
Do I
so-
understand what he did? No, not at all.
What's
No,
magic?
you
But I
don't.
think I do. Okay, that'll be dangerous later.
All right. So yeah, please. Uh. So yeah, you guys step back. I'm assuming you step back to Saltmarsh with
Yeah.
little gnome in tow.
I grab the chunk of metal and I take it with me.
Yep. All right. So he gets back, kind of takes a look at the cart. Spends a minute. Oh wow, you got what is this? 2 full, more or less? Maybe missing a spring at most. That's a lot. All right.
What's this gnome guy's name?
He hasn't given it yet.
Okay.
So he was just kind of asked. He was just like someone asked a question, and now he's just focused
Okay.
on stuff.
Yep.
So, okay. What are you all planning on doing with all this anyway?
Well, I want to know more about it. I want to know its uses, and then if someone knows how to work it, perhaps some equipment to help us if we have to fight them in the future. It's what I was thinking.
Alright,
I could be persuaded to sell at least some of it. It seems that, as though you are very interested.
I have a question for you.
Yeah?
If this is a magic spell, would you be able to reverse magic it and then put it on a different item? Or something similar on a different item?
Well, magic itself is not really my specialty. I'm the mechanical side of this is very intriguing to me, which is more where my specialty is. It's just I'm curious more as to so it looks like these things are made for excavation. Why would they need a magic enchantment to prevent damage from weapons?
Because they were using it to attack people. Whoever originally had it no longer has it, and bad people
was
have
playing, you know game in arcade where sometimes there is like a square with lots of holes and little creatures pop up and down and you take hammer and you whack.
Grandmama,
They were
they
playing
might not
that game.
have. Do you guys have arcades where you are from?
I think I made one of those actually.
Oh, never mind. They know.
All right. Well.
They were playing Whack-A-Goblin with us.
All right. Okay. Well, here's what I can definitely say. Without having time to look at these, all I can tell you is they're complicated, and whatever that armor plating is made out of has something fancy to it.
Mm.
With some more time, I could maybe tell you more. I might even be able to fix up that one, or I might be able to, I don't know, retrofit some other stuff on there. But it's kind of I can't make any promises without having time to look at stuff, you know?
Okay, well, I don't think that the creatures, the scraps, or the creatures will do us any good in their current condition. So, um, I uh, will check with my friends. We destroyed them together, but perhaps we can let him examine them and look at them, and he can tell us more, and we can find out their uses at a later time. What do you think?
I'm good with that.
This
Sal?
sounds good, Grandmama. I'm
Okay.
okay with this, yes?
Give me a couple days to look everything over. I'll see what I can do. I take it by some of your all's well, characteristics that you might see some use if I can maybe retrofit this to a weaponizable degree. It's not really something I normally do, but these things have the basis for them pretty much built in.
Yeah, that
Yes,
is why I would ask
it would be very useful.
is
to
more
if it could
defenseless
help
weapon
us.
for me.
Alright,
Put on shield
well,
and knock stuff away. Keep from being slashed in face.
I can take a look, and if I have some ideas, I can sketch some stuff up. Let me have you guys pop back in a couple of days, do some talking.
It
See what-
sounds good.
see what all right.
Sorry, I did not catch your name earlier.
It's Wiz Bolt, Clock Topper. Yeah.
Quizbolt. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you for
Thank you.
taking a look at this interesting thing for us.
Would you all mind helping me get them in the back? Please.
Yes.
Thank you. So, takes you.
Granny just
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Takes you back in through the very pristine, clean showroom, back into that back room, and it's a gnome's workshop. It's a mess. He does kind of quickly clear off a little space in the middle of the floor. Just go ahead and set them there. I'll get to working on those here in a bit. I have to finish up one little order first, and then that should give me some time to work on those. But yeah, I appreciate the willingness to let me take a look.
It's very interesting to me too. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, is before you go, is there anything in particular you're looking for from these, or is it just kind of like a what can I find?
I'm interested what you could do. If could be used for protection or for weapon. This is very cool. Um, I'm not sure what other uses they may have. If you know someone who could learn what kind of magic it was or where it came from, this is interesting too.
All right, I'll get to work, I guess. But thank you. As you go out, Jebediah kind of comes back up and, well, I do hope that was informative and
Very
helpful
much
for
so.
you all.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, you seem like the sailing type. You don't happen. What are the odds of you having a boat?
Uh, we have both.
Well, does your boat need things? Because I have things for boats.
Well,
Good sales pitch.
I from look at your showroom, you have many very fancy boat things. They seem very nice. They also looked like they could be very expensive, and right now, uh, we are, how you say, strapped for cash.
Uh, all right, that is true. A lot of the stuff on the models is, yeah, it's pricey. I won't lie, but it's worth every gold, every copper. Uh,
Oh, no argument for me, none.
but yeah, we also do cheaper or more affordable upgrades, such as we're working on changing it for sales a little bit. We've found out that if you do a triangular sail instead of a square sail, it lets your boat go a consistent speed no matter the wind. Uh, we do occasionally arm the occasional boat with a ballista, maybe a catapult. You know, we got a we do a couple things. So if
I
you
do enjoy a good weapon.
well, if you're ever in need, don't hesitate to stop by. We're the best one, and I'm pretty sure we're the only one in Salt Marsh. So
Thank you, Jebediah. It was very nice to meet you. I am sure we will have more conversations soon.
all right. Well, have a wonderful night. Hey, what time zone is it there?
I like these
Oh,
people. We must protect them. They are small and need protecting. I like them.
yeah, new favorite NPCs. That's
Doing something right. Yeah. So yeah, you guys leave the shop. Your cart is now empty, so I'm going to assume you take it back to wherever it goes. Um,
no use paying for empty cart.
yeah. Uh, as you're on your way back, you run into Anders, flanked by two individuals. One of which, for lack of a better term, is Alfred.
Okay.
Is Bruce with
And
him?
the other one, well, I'll let Jeff describe himself.
You might have noticed the picture loaded up in Roll20. It's very piratey, kind of a middle-aged human gentleman. Like suntanned skin, blondish hair. It's kind of eyeing you guys down with a bit of a smug look about him as he walks up.
And Anders approaches. Do you? Hello. How goes your investigation into the remainder of that smuggling ring, if I may ask? Just out of morbid curiosity.
Well, we have done a bit of looking, but I have not discovered much of interest yet. Is project for next few days. Uh,
All right. Well, If it's alright with you all, I'd like to have one of my people help out, if that's
I'm hoping you
is
guys can
alright.
hear them
Yeah.
alright, because they sound a little quiet in my ear,
Alright.
but that may just be the volume on
And
my
he
side.
motions over to the character on his right. This is Merrick Bilgewater. He is the. You could basically call him the Salt Marsh's go-to person for dealing with smugglers. So, if you don't mind, I would like.
Bounty hunter?
Well, not so much.
Let's just say he's in a similar situation to you. Leave
Ah,
it at that.
interesting. Our type of fellow then. Alright.
Yeah.
Huh.
If you. Oh, I'm sorry. What are my manners? And he motions to the figure on his. This is Scannon, Wave Chaser. He is a family friend and a good person to have it around for. He insisted on coming out for this
I'll be right-
little meeting.
I'll be right back, guys.
Oh. Alright. So, and he kind of takes his very,
Alright, I'm gonna go grab some stuff
you
off the
know,
porch real quick. I'll be
he's
right back.
Alfred look and just kind of gives a gentle head nod and kind of a greeting. Well-
It's very nice to meet you both. My name is Yelena. This is my nephew Sal. And my friend Reba.
Well, we've already met before, but nice to make your acquaintance officially.
We've met before.
Oh
I'm
yes,
sorry,
I
do
arrested you.
not...
Oh.
Right. I almost forgot.
That was fun
Oh
to
no,
do.
well, I understand the confusion. I didn't look like I do now. Little bit of trickery.
All right.
Well,
Well, perhaps we should start afresh then, because I'm sure that we didn't make the best impression in the world.
You were by far the worst smugglers I've ever caught.
Excellent.
One other small point about Merrick's appearance is that on his shoulder is a parrot.
Sweet. Perfect.
Little citizen nemesis.
Anders kind of speaks up. Well, I will let the four of you get to know each other. And best of luck. I assume the boat you already have will be adequate for boarding any kind of ship you may need to, correct? Or do I need to supply you one?
From what I've seen of it, our little boat is seaworthy. It is a nice boat, and is size that I can manage it without too much help. I think it's good.
All right. Well, I will let you all continue your investigation. And again, if you do need extra crew or anything, get a hold of me. I'll see what I can muster. And he
Thank you, Anders.
takes his his butler and is on his way. And I'm gonna go grab my dinner that's been sitting on the table for 20 minutes while
Cool.
he sleeps. So
Yeah, Hobble's going to get a package off the porch, so they'll be back.
feel free to keep talking. I'll be like 2, maybe 3 minutes.
I like this guy so far, Jeff. Oh,
Why,
that's
thank
Puck
you.
Puck. Puck let you pick him up.
Yep.
What does he want? Do you have cheese?
Nope, I don't
What's
have
he
any.
looking at? It
Popper!
looked like he was looking at one of the screens.
I came back to Popper!
Yeah, not the one with people on it.
It's the one with cheese on it?
Yep, you got me.
That's how
I
you
mean,
get
I
the
always
mic
have.
so you pick him
Hi,
up.
Puck. Hi,
That's why I
Puck.
have to have a third monitor, because I always have
Puck,
cheese on
Puck.
one, and then 2 to be productive and do stuff.
There's a Popper.
You lay down.
And now there's
Other pets are being picked up. You get picked up too.
Get over here, you little shit.
Alright, I'm back. What I miss?
Wake up and cuddle.
What'd you want
puppers
plot?
Pets.
and kitties.
Okay.
Puppers and
about to say, what do you
kitties.
want-
Doggo
while I was gone.
and Kato.
And now she cleaned your face.
So, the four of you are officially introduced.
Yay!
You finished returning your carts, no problem. They do ask why the horse looks like it's about on death's door. So,
Well, it literally was on death's door, but you see, this is Sal. Sal knows how to heal things. He help horse. As far as the deafening, that was bandits.
sheesh, bandits are getting bolder out there.
Medics are always a fine thing to have on a boat.
Well,
Horses.
appreciate you keeping her alive.
You're welcome.
And yeah, so the town is yours, and you have roughly a week before you believe the smuggling ship will arrive.
Mr. Bilgewater, was it? I
Aye.
admit that I do not know much about smuggling. My pass with it was, shall we say, accidental. What are we looking for? How will we take them take them down, or how will we you know, convince them to trust us so that we can are we is this infiltration? I do not know. Do you have a plan?
Well, the one thing that a smuggler always respects: coin. You can always lure a smuggler in with a lot of coin.
Okay,
That's
bud.
the general gist. If they're a bad smuggler. If they're a good smuggler, they're a little bit smarter than that, but
That is
you can assume most are
Pondo,
bad.
and the little bit of Corgo you can see
Right.
on the
So we bribe them.
the left hand side is
Or just
Puck.
set up a deal that's too good for them to refuse. Basically.
So we need to have goods for them. We need to offer them a trade they cannot refuse.
Well, we're looking to catch them with the goods.
Oh,
Is
okay.
typically a smuggler, we want to catch them with the goods. They have goods for sale.
I will say also, with the investigations you guys have done independently and the three of you as a group, this isn't so much a sale as a goods drop off.
They're dropping off. And they
Yeah.
expect us to sell? That's what I'm just trying to figure out what's happening here.
Yeah. It's just kind of like a case of the boat comes in with the goods, then they shuttle the goods from the boat to the house, and then they go from the house to selling. So,
pass the buck.
So the unpleasant man that we chased away. Theoretically, the seaside smugglers do not know he is gone, right?
So the the person that approached me during the session 1 to give me the tip, I'm going to go ahead and use disguise self to make myself appear like that person.
you watch as Merrick turns into Sambalit.
Ah,
Do you
Oh, I
mean
can
this
do that
guy?
too. I also turn into Samblick.
I do the
Yes,
I'm
yes,
just
it's a
imagining the
matrix.
two of you doing the
Why
Spider-Man
can't I
thing.
see Daishan in the chat? That's weird.
Is this what the man looked like?
Yes.
Do you have any other information about him? This is actually the person that gave me the tip that you would be where you were when we got you in.
How long have you been talking, Diashawn? I'm
Well,
sorry.
I tell him the story of what happened with us. And,
He doesn't actually know it, I don't think.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, you see, when we came into Saltmarsh, right? About a week ago, we came into Saltmarsh. We stopped in tavern. I talked to a very drunk man named Trevor.
Okay, that showed up. That last
Trevor
thing,
said,
the thing before the
"Don't
no
go to
worries, did
haunted
not
house
show
on
up.
hill. Is bad. Is haunted. Is very scary. Will make you shit your pants."
It's not haunted.
I think this sounds like a good idea. I like to kill ghosts. I want to test, to check to see if my axe can kill ghosts. So we go to haunted house and yes, I know it's not haunted. It's very disappointing.
No,
It was only
it's just some
voice. It went,
tricks.
woo! It was not very interesting.
There's actually a particular stair that's triggered on.
It's almost 7 o'clock your time. Why are
It
you still
seemed
working?
pretty. Yeah, like when we walk over same place.
Yeah, it's a timer. It only does it every once in a while.
About every
Once
5 minutes.
triggered, of course.
It's I and then there was trap door. I remember Sal had fun open and close door until the voice wear out. It slowed down. It was very silly.
It was.
But
Yeah. It's the same thing.
anyway, we went into house. We killed some spiders. I got my face gnawed off by some weasels in the garden. That was separate problem. We go into basement and find smugglers. Kill them. Find undead wizard man with skeletons. Have the skeletons alchemist something. The skeletons had golden ribs. We sold most of that. But we kill, re-kill, kill again. I don't know. The man was in the closet, the big door marked "Do not enter." As you can understand from this story, someone tell me not to go somewhere, I go right there. That's my personality.
Good to
But
know.
we kill the alchemy wizard man and his skeleton lackeys, and then we find Sandbillet, the man that you spoke with, and his guards and some other people. Um, we were trying to find out information, so we tell him we want job, we need job, and as we have recently killed the guards in the way that were helping him, he needed there were job openings. You understand? So we we tell him we want job. He says, "Okay, well, here is test. Survive this," and then he tried to kill us. It's not very nice. I thought it was very rude, so I tie him to a chair with lots and lots of rope and knock him out, and we kill the others, and there are items. He trade us the items in exchange for his life, so we let him go. Um, and we found weird lantern with scribble scratch nerd shit on it. I do not understand nerd shit. And we found boat. The boat is very nice. I love a good boat. But what we do from here, well, then we have goods that man give us in exchange for his life. We come to town to sell the goods, and that is part where you catch us because goods are stolen. We do not know this. The men have the goods, and we have the ability to kill him. So we trade.
Yes, a man tries to kill you and just happens to give you goods, and you think they're legitimate goods. Understandable, completely.
Well, I do not ask so many questions. It's nerd shit.
Great.
Right. Did someone tell you not to sell goods that were stolen? Because that's
No.
what you did. Oh, okay.
Well, now we know
Well,
this,
good.
and then we give them back, and we'd not be arrested anymore. It's very nice. Is a good trade. See, that's the sort of trade we do with Sandbillet.
Yes, that worked out very well.
Sorry, officer, I didn't know we couldn't do that.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse, Yar.
What do you mean he's murdering you? That's illegal.
So did one of you actually take the lantern?
Yeah, I don't remember if you all took the
I
lantern you
thought
found
we
in his
took
office.
everything, but I guess what we learned later was that we left that there because you took it. So apparently we decided that was nerd shit and I didn't need it, and Reba was occupied with his books because there were
Yep,
there
I
were
nerd
nerd books, so he didn't care about nerd scraps and lanterns, and they got left.
The rule I went with was if it had a monetary value, you guys took it. It did not have a monetary value written down, so I assumed you all didn't take it.
Got it.
So he has it now, just so you all have it.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and turn back into my own form and pull out the lantern. So the importance of this for the house that you were in is that it's a signal lantern.
Ah, right, because the house, I remember the view
Yeah.
is very pretty. You could see out into the water for a long way. It would be a good place for signal. I understand.
I will also
Right.
say, now that you can see it in daylight, it has a mechanical shutter on the front of it, and the glass in it is tinted green. So,
Neat. Huh, okay.
Oh, I also go back to looking normal. So we're not looking like Sandbillet. Yep.
So we may be able to use this to flag down potential smugglers from the house.
Oh, all right. Well, that seems very interesting, but nerdy. I think as long as you are expert in this, we will. I anyway am more than willing to let you uh do the flashy when when they come up, you keep me nearby, and I do slashy if they try to do stabby murder. This is my job. Also
Very good.
sailing. I am good at sailing.
That's right, you
Corgo?
tell them.
Still to Bork.
Corgo does a borking of agreement.
also, Cube, you
Yes.
took that piece of paper with that Morse code thing on it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
More nerd shit.
I don't have anything.
Nerds.
Now we have two nerds who can collaborate on nerd shit, and there's me and the nephew who can collaborate on hopefully making sure we don't all die. We have security team and we have nerd shit team. This works well for me.
Agreed.
It's quite an interesting family tree you've built for yourself, I must say. Would not have put the relation together.
What?
I did not choose my parentage.
Well, it's true, it's just hard to believe.
You've never seen a dork before?
Wow.
We have
Nope,
Borks and
just
nerds.
nerds.
Yeah, that's kind of the canon name for the half orc, half dwarf name.
Yeah, I
Dork?
just made it a
Yeah.
thing now.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You get it.
We went with Dork instead of Orvin. Okay.
Well, you see, most of the time, my dwarven family treats me as oddly green dwarf, and my orc family treats me as short orc. It's both sides kind of ignore each other. My parents were a strange couple, but it I enjoy different parts of my heritage, and for some reason, Sal did not seem to get any of Orcish blood. Genetics is weird. It's
I guess he
some-
came up short.
I have intense urge to kneecap you. Do you know how many times I have heard joke? I wish to kneecap you, but I feel like Grandmama will send La Chocla at me, and that's worse.
the sandal starts to come off.
I
Just
just
a
I just hear the sandal shuffle, and I'm like, see. Nah.
Mr. Bilgewater, are you familiar with La Chancla?
I have gathered from context clues that it's your shoe.
Is excellent tool for putting fear in children.
And running
Makes them much
bugbears,
better behaved.
or whatever that thing was that we murdered with it last time.
You
Hobgoblin.
skeleton.
actually killed something with a shoe.
She killed a skeleton with a shoe because it does bludgeoning damage. It does 1d4 bludgeoning damage.
You do not.
Is not as effective a weapon as X, but sometimes you must use what is at hand, or as at foot, as case may be.
Aren't you glad you said yes to this, Jeff?
Is I'm very glad to be teamed up with a dork with a shoe.
Alright.
So, what kind of leads you guys have? Any information about the actual smugglers?
Other than what we found, Sandalit and Rebo, were there some papers or something? It was nerd shit. It's not much.
We didn't really go through his office that much. There might be more.
That may
there.
be. Yeah, if he had any contacts he was keeping track of, he'd probably keep it in his office. Was his office part of the house?
His office
It's part
was
of the
part of the
caves.
house, and I'm going to go see if there was anything of note that you would find in there, because your passive investigation would find it.
Probably.
There's no probably
Mine's
about it. Your
12.
passive. Hey Jeff, you want to go ahead and tell him what your passive investigation is?
20.
Oh, well, shit.
Yep.
Are we playing with Perfectus or Pims? Did we get the right P word?
Yes.
Can you also find buttholes?
Probably.
I think he can find the entire butthole.
Also,
Okay.
if they speak in a language I understand, I can read their lips.
My passive investigation is 9. My passive perception is 13.
Yeah. So
I
I
have
let
8.
Oh,
My
I was
passive
the most
perception is
perceptive in this
21.
group. I was.
variant humans, man. Variant humans. All right. I'm just gonna start
Passive
reading
insight
stuff
is
off
16.
that was in his office, and you guys can tell me whether you took it or not. Anything that didn't take, you would have found, Jeff. So, there's the 3 books which I know you guys sold. So,
Mhm.
The Goblin to Human translations that were very
Oh,
crude.
it's Goblin. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm keeping that.
Okay. Again, though, when you look
Okay.
at it because of your invocation, it's just the same word twice.
I changed it, so now.
Oh,
I
you
keep
did?
Goblin. Yep.
Okay. Well, then never mind. Yeah. So you have a Goblin to Human translation of stop, fight, lift, come, single word commands for the people.
Oh. Okay.
The Bullseye Lantern, which is now in Jeff's apartment. Duh. His spell book, which you have. And the piece of paper with the crude Morse code on it.
Hey, Calf. Thanks for all the very prideful,
That's
shiny
You can
rainbow
probably also
love.
keep that.
Yeah, that's
that has no value. So
Yeah, no value, but it was.
I just
important.
needed you to know.
Well,
I
so
love
figure.
there was I remember on ground in office there was lantern, and there were nerdy papers that Reba picked up because was looking at nerd books and took all the nerd papers. This is nerd problem. It when I look at written language sometimes gives me a headache, and having headache make me angry, and that is bad for people's furniture.
Wow,
So,
that was a
Wrecking furniture,
perfectly
bad for
timed
friendships.
I see we're
Quote
going
there,
to divide tasks
Gaff.
into nerd tasks and dork tasks. It's fine. We have a demarcation point for work. That's good. Keeps things orderly.
perfectly
Um,
timed combo
so-
of quotes
The
and
whole thieves
gay
camp
skittles.
thing, is that in this arena? Is that actually going to be a thieves' cant, or is that like a smuggler code type of thing?
Well, my gut says I'll think about it and get to you later, but that's kind of important now. So,
That's why I'm asking. 'cause
yeah,
it
no,
came
that
up.
is completely fair.
Need to be more positive. Thieves can.
It's safe
Yeah,
to
I
say
made
that
a
this is a
emote
small enough town it
for
wouldn't
the
have like its
Discord,
own
like
thieves
Calf
guild
said,
kind of a thing. So if
that just says
you want
one
to
brain
treat it
cell
like a
and it's an
smuggler's
arrow
code
pointing
kind
at
of
the
thing,
little
we
teeny
can.
tiny microscopic brain cell.
Yay! I'll take it.
All right, yeah. So, yeah.
So would oh, can I see that piece of paper you lifted off the office?
I don't have it.
The paper cube.
The Morse code paper.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I turned that over.
Oh.
Can I read it?
Yeah, it's
On
easy
the
enough
road.
for you to read with that. So, it's essentially how their signaling system works. So,
Oh, okay. This is the instructions on
Alright.
how they used the lantern to signal to their boats.
let me go ahead and actually give you what it means.
Gruff is a rough rogue.
So typically, what it is there's a from the piece of paper. There's the ship asking the house, "Is it safe to unload goods?" And then the house will respond with either a yes or no, and then the ship will respond accordingly. So the pattern you're looking for would be a long, short, long, short from the ship. And then it would be followed by a short, long, and then followed by 3 longs from the ship. That is the everything is safe to unload.
So long, short
Poppers do a
is
bark.
the ship asking if it's okay.
Yeah. All right, bye. Yeah.
And
That is
and
the
then
ship.
all right, then what would the house say for yes?
Short, long.
All right, and then for no.
Short, long.
So Borks. It's the Bork code.
And also the message from the ship that says long means ready to unload, come to the ship. So essentially it's you guys going to the boat, not someone from the boat coming to you all.
Okay.
So.
Then I will in turn explain the operation to I'll look at Reba, since I'm pretty sure he's the only one that will understand what I'm saying and care. But I mean it's just addressed to everybody.
Well. All right.
So yada yada pirate code. If they give us the message, they'll expect us to come in our little boat and unload the goods for them. So, and I'll turn over to the
Well,
dorks.
why did you not say this in the first place? Instead you
So-
give long and short pants. I do not understand.
When we see 3 long lights from the boat, that means we go to get the goods.
All right, this I can do. I can pilot the boat. I can lift heavy things. I can shut up so that do not cause fight. This is good. I can do this.
Very good.
What's around the river
This
bend?
guy's just gonna talk to me like I'm an idiot for the rest of forever.
Absolutely. Because in his eyes, you're all idiots.
I mean, to be fair, I am an idiot. It's fine.
But the question is, Jill's in chat, how do we get it out?
How do we get what out?
It was a
Don't
random
use
quote
hot
of,
water
how do I get it
because
out?
protein makes stink.
There you see, Graf knows. Apparently that's how you get it out.
What's happening?
It's, I am not. Nope. Just
Okay.
I mean, this is a nautical campaign, so we're all kind of playing seamen.
With butter, says Pink Pie.
I guess Grandma is like a sea woman, so.
with butter. Okay, Phoenix. All right.
I think that was Phoenix's answer to how to get it out, not as like an aid.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Wear short shorts, long apparently. That's still awesome.
It's a quote
Laundry
now.
Day long shot in XCOM definitely wears short shorts. We've already confirmed
Oh
this.
God. So when are we doing this whole Paul Revere thing?
Who?
I thought his name was Paul Revere, the man that was doing the flashings.
His name
Oh,
was
he got
Sandor.
arrested for that.
Oh, okay.
that is different, man. It's funny
Dude,
story.
yeah.
I don't know why he want to show people small pee-pee. I don't understand. He's very, very proud of small pee-pee. That's a different thing. I think they mean the lights, not the pee-pee.
Yes, if I recall correctly, he kept saying 1 for grass, 2 for dirt. It was very inappropriate. Nobody understood what he meant.
Honestly, is probably better that way.
I think the Lord that is controlling all of our fates does not appreciate this conversation. So
Fine.
basically what we need to do
Pretty sure
is
this doesn't check.
we need to keep a lookout. We need to keep a lookout for a ship that gives the appropriate signal. That's when we know we have a smuggler approaching.
And Anders said he thought about another week, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we have about a week to kill. Maybe near the
Hello,
end of
Eldritch.
that, or towards the end of that time frame. We
Doing
can look in
okay.
case they're
How about
early.
you?
They're usually not. And go from there. But we'll need to take turns keeping watch at the cove to make sure that we don't miss the vessel.
All right. Well, I have other question for you, Mr. Bilgewater. Since it seems that you are mage, do you know anything about creatures made from magic and bronze, shaped like animals, being used for ambush on road? Recently we went on trip. Do you know Captain Zendros?
He owns a magic shop.
Yes, she does. Is on boat. She's very, very cool person. Anyway, we help with delivery of a very special object for Captain Zendros recently.
That's pretty
And
smart.
on the way
I
back
like
to
doing that too.
Saltmarsh, we were
I hope you enjoy the lurk and the listen.
ambushed by bandits on the road, and they had these magical creatures with them. Recently, we left them for investigation with new friend Mr. Visbolt. But Mr. Visbolt will tell us more later. But maybe you know something about the bronze and the magic that made these bugs that dig, and when I try to hack with X, it does not work. Do you know anything?
DM, what do I roll to
This
see
is
if
the
I know?
This is the first you're hearing of anything like this.
No, it's not something I've run across before. Zendros did have a glowing review for you, though. I did a little bit of investigative work about the people I was going to be partnered up with. She had good things to say about you.
She is too kind. I am mostly just a an everyday dorky grandma.
Who throws shoes at people. Honestly.
Sometimes, yes, it's effective.
It
At
is very
times.
effective. I will agree with this.
I was just I was merely curious if you knew something about these. I do not understand why something so strange would be used to trap people on mostly empty road. Seems very odd.
It does seem a bit excessive for your normal bit of banditry. They typically don't have anything except ill-kept weapons and rags.
Yes. Is why I thought would be no big deal to just sort of uh run through with horse and cart and perhaps jump off and do some decapitation and then catch up to cart. Instead, I almost lost my head.
Well, we have some time to kill before we need to catch our smugglers. So, if you wanted to take me out to the
Honestly,
area
I think
where
I've
it
done pretty
was,
good at not
maybe I
acting
could
up
find a
alone
hint
tonight.
or two about what was going on.
That sounds like a good idea. I think today we should go back to not Vicar Goat. What is name of other the fishing line?
Snapping line.
There it is. We
Yeah.
should go back to snapping line. We should have some good food and drink and sleep, and then maybe tomorrow we should go out onto the road and see if you can find out what was happening. Since you
Might
are
as
so
well.
skilled in investigations.
Aye.
That sounds like a good way to get a good night's sleep, and then a good start to quest. It will help our odds, our luck.
It sounds good to me.
All right.
Aye.
Yar.
So you guys want to just head back to the snapping line, grab some food, and just kind of let the rest of the day pass, or?
Mhm.
Okay. It's a little bit early.
Pirate says yup.
Do y'all want to go ahead and
Yar.
take the midway break proper here, or?
Yeah,
I
I'm
need
ready
it.
to make some coffee.
Cool. Thank you.
I'm gonna smack myself in the face real hard. That'll wake me up.
Change my picture!
Smack my face up.
All right. We're gonna take a break, which means you guys can grab something to drink, refill your water bottles, go take a pee.
I'm all hoity-toity and fancy with my freaking scales and my electric
Self-care
kettle
sort of
and
things.
shit to make some coffee. Shouldn't I mean?
I will be back.
Most people would be like, "Oh, it's way too fancy." It tastes so good though.
If you're new here, basically we go take a 5-minute break, do some walking around to stretch out the joints and do the self-care and poke the pink white wife, and then the be right back screen is basically just this minimized, so you can still hear them talking and doing weird stuff and stuff like that. So.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Alright, you just stay like that until we're back.
Yep. I mean, I'm still here. I'm just doing things.
I'm still listening. I'm just boiling water and measuring coffee and being a nerd.
I can see you in my peripheral.
Y'all are dorks. It's great.
No, you're
think-
a dork.
Yeah.
No, you.
No, you're breathtaking.
Gay.
Can't wait to fail a perception check so my character can say, I can't hear you!
Are you ready, kids?
Are you ready, kids? I can't hear
Roll
you!
initiative. Ugh.
Let's do some checking on things.
So I found that Direwolf 20 did a series in MC Eternal.
Okay.
Pretty cool. Found that recently.
Yeah,
So
it
I've
seems like
been,
he's played almost everything.
Well, usually he does his own pack. Like, he makes his own mod pack
Right.
and then plays through that. But he's done Revelation and MC Eternal most
Okay.
recently.
Oh, okay. So the last two that we played.
Right. It was a weird coincidence because he ended the Revelation and then went into Eternal. Been having some bad luck with getting on the server lately.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it gives me like a invalid session and tells me to restart the game and the launcher.
Oh, invalid session. You don't have to do that. You can log back in the upper left-hand corner. You don't have to restart the game. Yeah, you can log back in that way. And that way you don't have to wait 30 minutes to play.
I've been doing that. Like
Yeah,
I go, I
You'll
start the
see,
game up, go make coffee, come back, invalid session. Fuck.
Okay, if you see like a red X in the upper left-hand corner, it means your session ID from Mojang is invalid. I also just
Okay.
realized that Stick turned off his camera when he left.
Yeah.
Which is very funny to me.
I didn't actually leave. I just turned it off so the freaking thing wasn't staring into your eyes, into your soulless eyes.
Oh, okay.
Oh no,
Jeff
we
was
had
doing
we had
that.
me for that.
But yeah, you just click on
Um,
that. You can give it your login stuff, and it'll just re-log you in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that was a thing. That's gonna be a good time saver.
Ow! I just stabbed myself with a pencil.
Don't do that.
What's bad for you?
I do what I want.
I am legitimately considering buying a kitchen scale with a timer instead of using the scale and the timer on my phone. That is the thing that I should totally do. I'm instead gonna spend like $30 and buy another thing just to. Why? Why am I like this?
Because it's more convenient.
I mean, you got the money for it and you're gonna use it.
Might as well.
Yeah.
As long as you get value out of it. Thank
Prize
you.
in Steam library.
I've got food now, so I can officially enter a coma.
Hooray!
Me being on low sleep is not helping.
No. Very bad.
Yep.
I've been trying to fix my own issues with that lately by giving myself a 9-hour window for sleep, even though I usually only need about 7.5. But then that way, hopefully within that window, enough of it happens.
I had the
Yeah.
problem where I couldn't focus all day, and then I realized at the end of the day that I had something that was due the next day. Well, today.
Oh,
So
I'm like,
the
well,
nat
fuck, I guess
one
I'm just gonna
actually
stay up and
works
get
a
this
lot
done.
better when I'm actually
Because the client
rolling.
was waiting on it. I'm
Like,
like, oh, well, shit.
It
I'm gonna
does
get
so
that
much
finished.
better when I've got stuff to roll. But so far, this
That's
this session has
Yep.
been very
Oh, well.
low roll. All right, I'm back.
Hopefully you can make up for that
It's done.
at some point. No, but I mean, like, make up the
Oh, the
sleep
sleep.
for
Oh,
that
yeah,
at
I
some
can.
point.
That's probably the only big thing on my plate at the moment, so not too bad.
Cool.
There's about 2 minutes left before I will have coffee and be ready to go. Sorry.
Coffee! Coffee, coffee. Coffee, coffee. Coffee, coffee.
Coffee, 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 coffee chameleon. It comes and goes, comes and goes.
I don't know why I asked where the big stupid bitch tab is in Subnautica, but sure, that definitely sounds like me.
Oh, I thought I was getting called out.
I mean, I've just kind of been eating on and off through this entire game tonight, so.
Same, I've been making sure to drink plenty of cold stuff because throat feels like poop. Like prickly
Hubble,
poop. Yes.
do you have the Rona?
I don't know, I haven't been tested. I haven't stuck a swab all the way down into next year in my brain.
Yeah, it is like deep brain stimulation. That's a fact.
That's how Bill Gates puts the chips in you. Did you see that going around?
Yes, I saw
God.
that.
Oh, it scares the shit out of me. People are just stupid conspiracy nuts.
At what point is it considered natural selection?
mean,
Yes.
You should really watch Idiocracy one of these days.
Yeah.
That question
Oh,
is
yes.
answered.
That's a
Yeah.
great movie to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not now, but it is a great movie.
I mean, it's good to watch now because you're just like, oh shit, we're all fucked.
Poignant.
If this
Welcome
keeps
to
up.
Costco, I love you.
Water, like, from the toilet?
Why can't you watch it, Calf?
You know what? I'm gonna be smart and go get a drink while we're on break, as opposed to wait till everyone's back and then get thirsty.
Calf, I can already answer for Calf. Calf can't watch it because it makes her too sad because it's too real. Like most Mike Judge movies, if you have any experience with the subject matter.
Yes.
Okay.
Office Space. Oh my
Yep.
god.
Yep.
Ugh.
Okay, that's a valid point. All right. Wait, is that why I can't watch Office Space? Like, I can watch it, it just makes me so...
There's definitely a lot of similar situations that you have in a retail space and a call center or office corporate environment.
Mhm.
The big thing about being in an office environment is, thankfully, you usually don't have to be face to face with people. The bad thing about being in an office environment or call center, more accurately, is you don't have to be in front of people. So the good part about that is, you don't have to deal with all their bullshit right in your face, and especially times like this, it would be a lot more comforting to not have to deal with them face to face. The thing about call center, what you make up for in the way you make up for the lack of face to face is in volume. Because most call centers that are hopping, the way they're staffed, you take upwards of 80 to 100 calls a day, depending on your average call time. And some people get more brave over the phone than they would be in person.
A lot of
That's
people do.
that's real life. Yeah.
Yep. The internet before the internet? What?
Yeah.
When I was on an IT line for a while, the worst people that we'd have call in are what I call two-faced bitches. They would call in and be like, "This is a problem that needs to get fixed right now. I'm gonna talk to your manager." Like immediately, hot off the thing, they're a bitch. And then as soon as it's fixed, "Oh, thank you so much. You were a big help today." Like, I will fucking stab you.
Yep. I will not trust you to save my life. I wouldn't trust you to open the door for me. Fuck off.
You better be glad there's a phone between me and you, otherwise I'd strangle you with a cord.
What was always fun was, the people in the call center who finally had enough of it, and they would just like shut the customers like that down by going, I have your address right here, right? But then they get fired for that, so it doesn't really last long. You can't do shit. Just gotta sit and take it.
We were an internal for our company, so if anybody was a huge asshole, we'd write them up. We'd report them. We'd find out their supervisor and send all the recorded message to them, because we recorded all calls.
Yeah,
we only had to do that, I think, twice, in the time that I was there.
Internal call centers are a lot better for that, because the people that are calling you can hold them accountable for their bullshit, and generally speaking, there's less of it to begin with.
Yeah. You still have assholes, though.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's just a fact of people.
Yep.
Kitty.
Like the circling of Pondo that's happening on Hobble stream.
Kitty.
There's Pondo circling?
Sleepy
What am I
Blink.
It's just Pondo on the chair, but
Oh.
your camera view is now zoomed in on Hobble stream, and there's a mouse circling the sleepy cat.
Got it.
Oh. I didn't mean to click like that. Kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Look at Sleepy Kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, 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 kitty.
Stop, you're making her dizzy.
I poke your nose, Kitty. I pick your nose. Pondo, Luna is Jills is coming back. The camera is shaking.
I did not. I'm suddenly very glad I didn't delete the layer you guys were on for that bandit fight, because I was considering it. Like, I don't need this anymore.
So for a while in IT, I was also QA. So I got to be on the call and basically shadow calls. And there was this one time we got a customer, and they were just so annoying. I'm like, I mute for him, and I go, "Hey, you want to go grab a coffee?" We went and put them on hold. We were like, "Hey, we're gonna do a scan, and it's gonna take a few minutes." We did that, and then we went out and got a coffee and came back.
Wow.
That was fantastic. They called every single day for like 3 weeks. It's that kind of person. Yeah.
Yep. They got what they deserve.
Yep. It's like you can afford to wait 15 minutes on the line.
I come bearing coffee in the panda.
For a
I'm a little
second.
concerned about it because I was too quick on the bloom again, and last time that made it sour. We'll see how it goes.
For a minute, I thought you were talking about Pondo, and I was like, when did Pondo become a panda? What?
No,
My
I'm
coffee just
talking
goes
about
drip
my
drip.
mug, but there is a Pondo right there.
Oh, we know. When you came back, I put the screen back the way it was. But at one point, I was picking her nose, and then I was... Shh.
God, it is so annoying that this map is in yards and leagues and not miles.
Yards.
Yards.
Okay.
I've got the Rona. I'm gonna
Oh,
die.
Hubble's
no.
blue light filter is still on.
Oh, shit. Thanks, Jules. I knew I forgot something. Panda.
Is that the color change one?
Yar.
Yeah.
6 X's. So.
Something also just makes me happy about holding the creature by its ears while I sip from it.
That's the grandma.
Yeah, it's that grandma.
Brain juice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Cool.
it's a grandma mood and a zombie mood at the same time.
Grandma zombie.
All right. So,
Brains.
all
One
right.
brain.
That's taken care of. That's good. That's good. Okay. Think I'm good. So, you all gather awake the next day, meet up, grab breakfast, and do you all want to walk to the meeting point, or do you want to get horses, or what?
Tell us,
Uh,
I have
Admiral
since-
Scruffy Muff, how far is the meeting point
Well,
again?
I have since recalculated the distance because I kind of just made it up last time.
uh-huh.
It would be about an 8-hour walk at a normal pace.
No horses.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to recalculate it, so I'm just going to say the horses cut it in half, so it's 4. Because that's easy.
It's a slow ass horse, but that works.
I don't know how fast horses are, man.
It's okay. We run it a donkey.
So, yeah, I don't know, how much, does it say how much horse renting is on here?
Who brought this jackass?
Call it,
How much was the jackass? Because currency questions.
Captain Zendros took care of the cart for your little trip.
No. This one. This time was to
Yeah,
get.
that is what I am doing the math of, because I was really hoping there'd be a price. There's not, so
Should have
call
summoned a
it.
magical steed.
Call it.
I don't have that yet.
I do.
Slacker.
But I technically don't.
Is 2 silver fair? 2 silver sounds fair, right? To rent a horse for a day?
Okay.
I don't know. I'm bad with money. It's fine.
Sure, yeah, that I don't know. Yeah, sure. Sounds fine.
Yeah.
I mean, renting a horse for a day, and is renting a horse for a day and renting a room for the day the same price? Because if so, then that's about right.
Yes.
Sure.
Is it the same one we almost killed?
No.
Okay, good.
All right. So. Yeah. So you get your horses. I know 3 of you have water vehicle proficiency.
This is true.
I does not have land vehicles.
I kind of want to. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna ask for animal handling checks again. But
Yeah.
did you each get your own horse, or some of you buddied up, or?
Can
We each
mine
got
be
our
a
own
seahorse?
horses, I think.
Horses
boy.
love me.
I rolled
Actually, that's not a
18
bad roll.
on the animal
Yeah.
handling check.
Yeah. All right.
Let me do mine.
14.
9.
All right.
9. Wait, wrong campaign.
Yeah. So the horses, they get going. Merrick's, yours is a touch slower at first, just because it wants to be stubborn, but it eventually gets underway and goes, and
Yes,
you
what
spend a
Pint
couple
said.
hours riding down the road. Where is the player marker? There it is. Hi, you're in the ocean now. Just give me a second. Okay.
The seahorse. Oh.
No. And then you eventually get yourself to the place of the ambush that I never cleaned up because I was planning on just deleting that. So
You never
that's
put that
fun.
fire out.
I did not.
It's forever burning. What sort of magic
Wait.
is this?
What layer did I put that on? Oh, I put that on the map layer. Okay, so that's gone. At this point, this weird sideways cart has been moved off the road by someone. The bodies are not here, so
To the death
you
corner
all
you go.
took the mechanical. There it is. You took those. You don't have a cart with you either. That horses are not here. Let me. Actually, you can drag your own token over, right, Jeff?
Sure.
Yeah. That was a question, not a request, but yeah. Yeah, okay. So this is you recognize the cart that's on its side and the burn marks on the ground, and although it's been a couple of days, this is the spot you were ambushed at. So
I explained to him like the story of how it happened, how we were coming from this way, and we saw this cart was across the middle of the road, and I could tell it was an ambush, but I was like too cocky and was like, okay, well, we'll just run through and I'll jump off and chop off some heads like I told him before. And then the bandits popped out from here and here and here, and that was all fine. That's what I expected, but then suddenly diggy hole monsters, and everything was terrible, and I almost died.
and I will say the holes themselves have like kind of caved in a little bit, but they're still obviously there.
Okay.
So
Okay. Well, I'm going to do an investigation around the site, particularly the holes themselves where the things came up, as well as the other spots of ambush that they pointed out, just to see if I can kind of I want to get a bearing for whether, well, I want to try to get some idea of how professional this was, or how elaborately set up it was. Like if it looked like it was hastily done, or if it was well planned.
all right, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Okay. Wow, that's bad. That's going to be a 7.
Well, there was a cart on one side of the road, and the other side of the road was set on fire, and there were things that dug. And there were people that looked like they were kind of sticking near the tree line.
Things that Doug built.
Also, had I heard about any kind of similar attacks from town, or like people being waylaid on their way into town, anything like that?
No, this, apart from the usual, like, run-of-the-mill, normal 2 or 3 people trying to rob maybe like a person traveling. No, but nothing of this magnitude with constructs.
Right.
Like, there is nothing of that. This is the first you're hearing of that. So
This seems way too elaborate of a setup for your regular run-of-the-mill bandits. I'm not quite sure who might be behind this. There's been no news of any kind of setup like this in town. Maybe because they've killed everybody that they caught, or maybe this was brand new. So, y'all had come here this is out of character. Y'all had come here to pick up a delivery for
This was
Zendros.
on our way back. We picked up from Zendros's ship in Saltmarsh. We went to another like secluded location to drop off a very expensive item, and we were coming back with an assload of gold, platinum, for Zendros that the guy buying the potion had paid, right? So we had a trunk full of lots of money, but theoretically nobody knew anything about that. Like, it was very secret. That's how we kept it safe, and we just went as a small crew. Like, the thing was worth 50,000 gold. So we weren't trying to publicize it because there were only 3 of us. And then we were on our way back with the trunk hidden in our rundown looking cart. Not rundown looking, but it didn't look like anything fancy, you know what I mean? And then yeah, we got ambushed on the like on the trip back. We weren't near to anything really. It was just like on the road.
For a point of reference, actually, I should have done this earlier. Hi, I gotta drag you all the way back to the other side. They're roughly, actually, they're exactly where that blue triangle is. Like, it's that general area.
So we went to the green dot.
Yeah.
From Saltmarsh, and we were on our way back at the blue triangle. That's where we got ambushed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. Go ahead and warp you back to the other thing in case other stuff wants to happen. It's got to be an easier way to do that, but I guess not.
Probably is.
So my I've known since I've been in the town for a while. What do I know about Zendros? Have they been around for a while? They're generally well respected.
Yeah, they're well, typically what they do is they come in and they're one of the main buyers of like the fish that the town exports. Because according to her paperwork that you double check every once in a while, she takes it back to a port over in Keeland because their cities over there, they physically cannot produce enough food for their own city, so they typically come to the other countries that are nearby that have
weird
excesses of food in order to feed their own people. So she's mainly a fish buyer, but she does occasionally sell a magic item or two. It's more of like a side hobby though, not her like main ordeal. But she does she gets some pretty pricey stuff every once in a while.
And that was what was being delivered to the other location. It was like a single pricey item.
Specifically a potion of storm giant strength.
Warlock Sugar Daddy.
Which is a legendary magic item. So. So yes, a single, very expensive item.
Was there anyone at the site who was there to? Well, I'm guessing there was someone there to make the exchange for you.
There were a few people there. There was it was only a handful. It was not many, but very fancy people. From what I remember, they were purchasing for some kind of royalty, right, Sal? I can't remember exactly.
Yes, I think that is right, yeah. Yes? Yes.
Well, see, because here's what I'm thinking. This is way too much for your normal banditry. They probably knew someone would be coming by with something worth stealing. I don't think Zendros would have done anything like this. They have a good reputation in town. Their paperwork always checks out when I look through it. But we might want to ask her about the buyer. Did you tell her about the issue on the way? Did she have anything to say about it?
When we came back to deliver the money, we did tell her about it, and uh she did not know who it could be or why. At the time, I did not think, I was not trying to analyze, who it was. I was still sort of in shock that it had happened.
Right, nerd shit.
Not nerd shit, battle frenzy, and then being tired and foggy in the brain. Battle is not nerd shit. Battle is my thing, but that was
Battle can be nerd shit too.
Ain't no thing but a battle way.
um she was very appreciative that, we, and glad that we came through okay, and she increased our payments to show appreciation, though I think some of that may have been because she felt bad that I was bleeding all over the rug at the time, but that's neither here
Damn
nor
right.
there.
If you want to salute both ways, you salute both ways.
Right, I don't
let
I don't
anyone
think
shame
that,
you otherwise.
She had any ill intent here. Like I said, I think there might be something fishy about the buyer. I'd be interested to find out from her if this is a frequent client of hers, or how she might have gotten in contact with this individual. Because again, it's just
Can I
it's a
remember
lot.
the name of the? It was
Why?
like Philip or something,
Why?
right? Like
Why?
Steve.
You were never given the name of the buyer.
the guy who showed up said,
Oh, I
"We're
don't.
here in behalf of King somebody or other."
No, you. At I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember.
Okay.
At least he's honest.
What he probably would have done is not have told you the name of the buyer and just given you his name. Because I know I said it was on behalf of the Baron. I know I
The
said
Baron,
that.
that's what it
That
was.
is what I said. I did not give, or he did not give any more detail than that.
The Baron. Okay. I don't know why I thought it was. I don't know. All
Probably-
nobles are the same. That's
Probably because
nerd
y'all
shit,
get
apparently.
enjoyment out of making me come up with names on the spot, would be my guess.
Steve Barron.
It's not bearing many details about the buyer, huh?
High price item. He didn't want to be traced.
Yeah.
At least not right away.
So he ended up trying to be a robber baron. Got it.
Well,
That
well,
was.
I suppose
Mhm.
if you wanted to spend lots and lots of, if you wanted a very expensive item, right? Say you wanted. Let's see. If I'm determining whether this is in character for my character to think of. Maybe. Okay. So let's say you want to spend or you want to get pricey item, right? And it costs lots of money, and you wish to not be rid of that money. I suppose it's not that unusual, right? To spend that money and then try to steal it back if you're not a reputable individual.
Old
That
smuggler
makes
trick.
sense.
I know it well.
Is and 5,000 platinum is a lot of money. So I can see how this might be something that the Baron or the Baron's people, whoever this man is, may want back that money.
Maybe it
will-
was an
That makes
insurance
sense.
scam.
I will say, Jeff, since you do have a bit of a history with this kind of stuff, typically the camp is not far from the ambush spot. Like, it's not right next to it, but it's
Right.
It's within walking distance. So.
They probably would have been hiding out, somewhere near this spot to wait for whatever signal they would have gotten from the buyer. Let's go explore the area off to the side of the road, and see if we can find evidence of their camp.
All right. That
Um,
sounds like a good plan.
Who wants to lead the venture to try and find their camp?
Um,
I
probably
can.
the guy
I-
with the skill at that. Yeah.
All right. I will say investigation or survival for tracking.
Yeah, investigation. We'll go with that
I
one.
figured, but I wanted to give you the option.
Since I have survival proficiency, can I help?
Yeah, sure, good.
Cool advantage. Huzzah. Thank you for the advantage. That would have been a rolled 1 otherwise. As it stands, that's going to be an 11.
All right.
There's some bad rolls.
Well, it takes you a little bit, but eventually you kind of get pointed in the direction of it. It's not like footprints, because you're looking at the ground, and it's like, for lack of a better term, like tire ruts, but really small, and have like a spike every few inches or so. And there's like a belly rub in the middle between the two of them.
Belly.
For context, it's the tracks of the construct Shaw fought, but he hasn't seen them, so.
I was just thinking about dogs and belly rubs. That's
Same.
No. But no,
These are some very odd tracks.
Yeah.
And I'll point them out to Grandmama.
no.
Are these something that look familiar to you? You ever seen a creature like this?
It's right. We did not get to show you because Vizbolt was looking. The creatures that dug those holes, they look like insect, right? But with belly dragging on the ground and the 6 legs and walking with belly dragging. This reminds me of them. I think is something similar.
Oh, okay. So, let's follow the path that leads, and see where it goes.
It's a unique enough track that it's easy enough to follow. Follow them for about an hour and a half, give or take. And you do eventually come across a little clearing in the trees that has like a kind of weathered fire pit, like it's been sitting there for a couple of days, and like a tent that's
Kitty's
collapsed
back.
over, and then there's one that's like partially collapsed over. It's, it's like this place hasn't seen people in a couple of days. So,
Probably because they're dead.
I mean, one would imply.
Okay, well, I would like to search the campsite to see if I can find anything as obvious as like missives, like pieces of paper, but just something that would generally clue me off as to where they might have come from, any kind of weird regalia or symbols or
And the pupper's back too.
clear messages.
All right, go ahead and make another investigation check.
Okay. Oh, fuck me, die. 14.
All right. So you kind of spend a minute going through their camp. There's not a whole lot here. There is like a map of the local area with like a couple other spots that they circled. Like it looks like they were considering, but the one you guys are at has like a much larger mark on it, kind of indicating this is where they settled. You're going through. You don't find much in the way of personal effects, although there is. In the collapsed tents, there is a small locked box, like
You have a very good
maybe
night, Pink Pint. Thanks for riding out as
10
long as you
inches
can.
by like 6 inches. It's not very big and it's not very thick, but it is small. It is locked, and it grabs your attention because it is locked.
Okay. One other thing that I want to do as we're searching is have Samuel go up into the air just to kind of keep watch in case others may want to return to this camp.
Okay. I will
Mr.
say.
Bubbles will also keep watch.
Oh boy. One other thing that's definitely stands out to you, and in like the middle or behind the one tent that was still kind of standing, there's like some weird brass pillar with like a metal, like a silver-ish metal coil on the top. You ever seen a Tesla coil?
Yeah.
It looks like a Tesla coil, but like it's only about 3 feet tall.
Oh, so it's the charging station for the constructs. Got it. I'm kidding. I don't know what that is.
That artificer, Elon Musk, made this.
Right.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
you fought the Model 3. It's the newer one. It's pretty
it's-
good.
But yeah, it's just like essentially a Tesla coil with some fancy stuff on the bottom. Appears to be a little handle on it that can turn.
Okay. Think the smuggler in me is going to be more interested in the locked box. So, let's see if I can unlock it.
Make a thieves' tools check.
So that's basically the modifier for that is going to be Dex plus proficiency
Yep.
plus the roll.
Unless you, for some reason, didn't take proficiency with thieves' tools as a rogue.
Yeah, no, I'm proficient in thieves' tools.
Yeah, then it's Dex plus prof plus roll.
Okay, so that's going to be a 21.
You're kind of going in. You take your lock picks. You kind of feel the lock. It feels like it has like a false set, but you're just like, no, that's not it. And you just keep messing with it for a second, and it just pops right open.
What's in the box?
What is in the box is a single envelope with a seal on the back that, at first glance, is kind of looks like wax, but after looking at it for a couple more seconds, it almost feels like a metal.
Do I recognize? Is there any symbol on the seal? And if so, do I recognize it?
There is a symbol. You can make a history check, but
Okay, I'm
yeah,
looking at it. Fuck it. That is going to be a 22.
You're thinking, and you're just like you're staring at it, and like vaguely familiar in like the most vague of terms, if that makes sense. Like you've maybe seen it once somewhere in passing a couple of years ago, but no like names come to you right away.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I will say as you're staring at it, it looks like it has a mechanism in it, of some sort.
Okay. Can I try to figure out how the mechanism works or what it's doing?
You can. I'm trying to see if there's a better stat as opposed to a third investigation check.
I mean, it definitely seems like it's an investigation.
No,
thing,
yeah, this
so-
one definitely feels like investigation, so.
Alrighty then.
I know, heaven forbid I pick a stat you're good with to make you roll a bunch of.
Natural 20, so that
Okay.
would be a 25.
Heck yeah.
Alright. It does still take a minute, and you kind of have to like pull out one of your lock picks to get into there to finer details, but eventually it's you seen those videos online of the guy that makes the little mechanisms and coins?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, hold on. I gotta find something in for this to make sense.
He's
That
like,
gnome I haven't met does it. He's the culprit.
No, don't eat the microphone, bad cat. Meow. No.
but it lights up.
No.
Is that a GIF?
I'll be cute and then I'll bite the microphone.
Yep.
Yep.
Stitch.
I've lulled them into a false sense of security. Now is the time to strike.
Okay. I can't find a good picture quickly, so essentially it's just like what would be the wax seal actually has like a fairly complex clockwork mechanism in it.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and you just you spin a second with it, and it just kind of slides. Like you rotate a certain thing, and you push another thing up, and eventually, the seal separates into what would be two parts, and the envelope opens.
Cool. What's in the envelope?
A piece of paper written in a language you don't recognize.
Oh shit.
Aww.
There's
Is
a
it
couple
Gerbil?
common words on it, though. Basically, get what you can, but I'll kill you myself if you lose those.
Oh, that's one way to get your people to do these. Just not, maybe just not best idea.
I'm gonna guess it's not Gerblin that's written in there.
No.
Okay. Well, time to take that invocation again.
It's not
Oh.
Dwarfish either, is it?
No. I actually went ahead and looked through everyone's languages. No one here speaks it.
Oh,
Oh no.
I thought you looked through to make the determination into what language it was written in.
Oh, I did that too.
No one in the party speaks what the majority of the letter is written in. But
Ooh. I again am having a thought that I'm not sure whether. Can I hear them struggling with the language?
how loudly are you struggling with the language?
Not really so much loudly struggling with the language, but reading the piece of paper and then flipping it over to try to read it, and then realizing that's not right either because of the common words, and then flipping it back over.
I do that a lot too when I read.
It's kind of obvious.
Okay. Mr. Bilgewater, what have you found?
Oh, I found a note that was behind a very complicated lock on an envelope, almost like a seal, but it was mechanical. But it's in a language I don't understand. Except for this
Fancy-
part.
What the? Oh.
Also, for what it's worth, the more you kind of hold the letter and the envelope, they're not paper.
It's skin. Run.
They're also a type of metal.
Wait, this is very fancy. I also do not recognize this language, but you remember those funny little men that we took creatures to? Those people, the gnomish people, tend to be very fancy with the mechanicals. Maybe Visbolt can read it for us.
It could be gnomish. I don't know.
You don't know.
Here,
I'd say
I
get
can't
out,
kick you, but I can do
you're
this.
the DM. What am I supposed to do with this?
You're supposed to laugh and say it was a good pun.
It's
Ah.
good joke. We had good time.
No,
Very funny.
I am sorry. That was bad.
That was pretty bad.
If you know of someone who might be able to read this, it's worth a shot.
I mean, there are a couple people there in that shop who know languages I do not know. what I can. I am not very smart, but I can read Common, and I can read Dwarvish, and I can read Orc from my upbringing.
And between the two, she can also read Dork.
It's true. I can do that, but yeah, it is, and I know Reba knows some language of Eldritch God. Can you read this?
Oh.
But it's not written in Eldritch God. So this is good. It means we may live longer.
Eldritch God, right.
I do not know
Right.
what language that is. It is nerd shit.
What did we say that was? Primordial?
I think you took
No.
Primordial and Deep.
Yeah, and deep speech. Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Oh, right. You haven't heard his full story yet in character, have you?
Nope.
No.
Reba likes to play with demons or something. I don't know. More nerd shit.
It's more
Demons.
complicated than that. Fish demons.
Yes. Have you noticed his special fish necklace? That is Mr. Bubbles.
Yeah.
Mr. Bubbles go blub blub. Reba says he's God. I do not understand.
Yeah.
It's nerd shit.
On his necklace, there is like a crystal ball full of water with a goldfish in it, and a single gold piece sitting on the bottom of.
Oh yeah, that gold piece is still there.
Yeah.
Is
And it's just a fish that's just kind of like not really moving, just staring. And it's one of the
It's-
bubble eye goldfish.
it actually
Yeah.
staring at me?
It's just.
You can't tell.
Yeah. Yeah, you really can't tell. It's just.
Show him the picture. Show him the picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
You have
I'll
it
go pull
quickly,
up real
Cube?
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go grab it real quick.
Grab it, grab it, grab it.
Oh yeah, let me show you guys the icon that I have for Samuel. There we go. That is one ugly motherfucker.
Yeah. So it might be staring at you. It might not. We really don't know.
He's staring, we know.
This is
Just
Mr.
looking
Bubbles.
at himself all the time.
But yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Bubbles. Before this, Mr. Bubbles was our keykeeper. It did not go well. That is why there's gold piece.
He was too good a job.
Reba says that fish is the Lord God Almighty, or of former time, something, as I said, is nerd shit. I do not understand.
okay. Fine. This is fine. Back to other things.
I'm saying the nautical nettle, or whatever the Jebediah shop is, there's Halfling, who I assume can read Halfling, and there is Vizbolt the gnome, who I think is probably more likely to be able to read something this complicated.
Right, because it's not halfling. I can read that.
All
So,
right.
lot of little folk on the seas.
Right.
Question for you, Steak.
Yes.
Anders is a rich little boy. Do I know if he has training in lots of languages? Also that he's he's a politician of sorts?
Let me see what his stat block is. Because that is not something I have.
I'd imagine something like this might have come up in our past of working together if I couldn't read something.
Yeah, let me just quickly double check.
While this is going on, I'm gonna go play with the Tesla.
Touch that
Alright.
nerd shit.
Fuck, I've rolled awful one.
We'll get back to that. Roll me a d20, Jeff, just casually.
Casually, I don't know if I can do that. I'm pretty serious with my rolls,
Alright,
but
just roll.
I got a 4 on the d20.
Okay, he does have language training. Not in that. It's common and dwarvish. You know he speaks.
Okay.
So, yeah. So Cube,
Yep.
you go over to the arcane thingy.
Yep. I'm trying to figure out what his purpose is.
Well, it has a handle with a crank on it.
Oh, well, I cranked that shit.
Cool. So you crank it, and you hear a noise, and it's just like a very low hum that gets higher pitch, and higher pitch, and higher pitch,
It's his instrument.
and eventually there is a giant arcane lightning bolt that comes out of it. Yeah, make a dex save.
Okay. Hey.
Hey, there it is.
You dodge out of the way, right as you realize, wait, this could be bad, and it just strikes the ground where you were standing a moment after you backed off, and the hum slowly fades.
It's the little things.
Do I have any insight of why this is here in the middle of their camp?
Make an intelligence check?
Investigation.
Sure.
Okay, back to being dumb as a box of rocks. Okay.
Oh, bandits go burr.
Okay, bandits do go burr. I am going to suggest that we take this back with us, though. Nothing will go wrong with this.
You want to carry around the thing that made you that almost toasted your ballsack.
It does a thing, and I don't understand yet.
You have a bag of holding, so.
Oh, how big is it? Is it like 3?
It'll fit.
Okay. Yep.
If the giant chest full of money can fit in your bag of holding, this thing can fit. It's a little bit longer, but it's narrower.
A bag of holding already. Holy shit.
We have a bag of holding.
Yeah, that skeleton they mentioned that was an alchemist.
That's right.
He had one on him, along with 6 other skeletons to fight at the same time. So
that was a good fight.
They earned it.
All right, I have added Elon's Tesla to my inventory.
You keep that Tesla to yourself.
Just be careful that you do not singe your ball hairs.
With someone else's.
I don't think
balls.
Sal wants to heal burn scrotum.
I will not heal burn
I would
scrotum.
also like to not smell burnt pubes. Thanks. I've been there before. It's not pleasant.
This is very true.
Okay, now that's a story.
Hey, not really. I mean, there's not much to do on a boat when you're bored, or if you're waiting for things to go by. You know, sometimes the fish doesn't quite agree with your nether regions, and make an improvised fireball. Sometimes the flame gets a bit too close. Boredom happens.
Oh,
anyway,
Granny scratches her head and says, "Boys everywhere really are fascinated by farts and fire. I do not understand it."
What's fucking funny?
Yeah. It is great, especially when you can combine the fart with the fire and it just boom, and there goes Charlie eyebrows.
Fart and fire.
I'd like to modify my Eldritch Blast.
I do not understand why boys are this way. So that's what LaChunkla is for.
LaChunkla lights farts on fire?
No, LaChunkla is for keeping boys who try to light fart on fire in line.
Fart on fire.
If boys try to light farts on fire and Grandma catches you, you feel the wrath of LaChunkla on your ass. Is how it works. Unless you already burnt your own ass, then
I think
then
you
you
came
have
in right at the
earned
right
your
point.
just recompense, and I do not have to beat you.
I will keep these things in mind.
This is good. You should.
You keep them in mind. You keep them in mind, or she'll keep them across your ass.
So we got the chest. We got the thing that was in the lock chest. We're gonna take it to Little People, And we have the Tesla coil that is in the TARDIS bag. Was there anything else of interest in the camp?
Not really. Like, there is in one of the in the tent that's kind of half up. There's a much larger chest that's empty, almost like they were expecting to get more stuff or be here for a longer time. But yeah,
Can I take their supplies since I don't want to be
Yeah.
wasteful?
yeah.
Okay.
2 tents and call it an explorer's pack and a thieves pack minus a day and a half of food.
A burglar's pack, an explorer's pack, and 2 tents.
Are there any construct tracks that are leading away from this camp, but not towards the road, or regular tracks that are leading away from the camp that look fairly fresh?
No, nothing fresh. The freshest tracks are the ones you followed from the ambush point.
Well, it seems then, since there's not really any other tracks around, number one, they were here for a long time. Number two, whoever set them about this task had a way of getting messages to them that didn't involve walking. So, probably dealing with someone who's relatively powerful. Certainly not a trick that I have in my small bag of tricks.
Oh, speaking of your bag, some of these things look like things that may be useful to you. Would you like the sneaky smuggler pack?
Sure, I can just put a ×2 on everything in my inventory.
I mean, I don't know if you have anything missing. Perhaps you do not need it. We can instead sell it. It looked similar to some of your things. I thought you might need refreshment.
1,000 ball bearings is nice, but what's even better is 2,000 ball
2,000 ball bearings.
Yeah, can't wait for those to come back and screw me over somehow.
Oh yes.
Ultimately, if you would like different pack, there's this one. Perhaps there are extra things. I don't know.
Well,
I just been collecting all of the ropes. It was useful when tie-ups handle it.
Well, you see, strength is not one of my strengths. So if you want
Well.
to hold on to those things in case we need them as a group, you're all welcome to.
We have fancy bag for this.
Is that the one that he shoved the entire machine into?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured it was fancy.
It is fancy. I do not know what it's some sort of magic something. Nerd
Right,
shit.
nerd shit.
Yeah.
Jeff with a negative charisma is great.
Alright, I guess let's take this back in to town and see what we can make out of it.
To say? Okay.
Yeah, Fizzbolt.
All right, so you guys get on your horses and you ride back to town, and
Ride my horse to the old town.
easy enough, quiet trip. You get back. I'm assuming return the horses unless you want to hold on to them for a little bit longer.
Oh.
No. We said a couple of days. We would give him a couple of days.
He asked for a
right?
couple of days, so.
Okay, it's only been a day. I don't
Yeah.
want to rush the guy.
Okay.
How about
Horses are
tomorrow
rental. We go for joyride.
we go see Vizbolt? I told him that we would wait a couple of days to give him time to examine the constructs. So
On the sorry.
go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, in any case, the round trip to and from, as well as the time spent investigating, we're probably at the end of the day anyway. So
Yeah, it's pretty
it would
late.
make sense to wait till tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Fast
Is it-
forward to going to see Visbolt tomorrow.
Yep. Return the horses. You go get dinner.
Shit.
Discord
Yeah.
decides to turn
Yeah.
everyone into a Minecraft skin for a second.
It's like everyone moves to central, and then everyone moves to east, and then everyone moves to central, and then everyone moves to east.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So you all meet up in the morning and head over to what name did I actually write down for this place? It was like Clock Topper's Nautical Novelties is what I came up with.
You sure did.
Which is
Which is-
names not my best thing.
Clocktopper's Nautical Novelties. That is
A name.
that is a
Like
thing
I
to
said,
say.
is the nautical nettle. I do not know.
Yeah.
The- Jebediah's naughty nettles. I do not know.
Yeah.
He has boats.
Jet's not nuts. Got it.
So, yeah, you guys go inside, and Jebediah is in there talking with some rather formally dressed people in a military uniform of an area none of you really recognize. So, kind of give him a moment. I will say, Merrick, since this is your first time in here, you do immediately pick up the layout of the floor. It does not fit the footprint of the building, and you are not in Saltmarsh.
Oh, this is real disorienting.
Yep. So,
And this
I
is on a
obviously don't want to interrupt their business dealings, so I'm just sort of
so
browsing. What were you saying, Cube? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I was thinking. So this is on a building, like this doorway. What's in the actual building? That's a good question.
that's a good question.
Okay.
Uh, feel free if you want to actually browse. Roll. Call it just a d20, and I can tell you some of the stuff you see on the fancy things.
8.
All right, let me go back. Actually, right, that's like the very end of the book roll. That is. Give me a moment. Nope, that is what happens when you crash. That is stat blocks.
No crashing,
that's-
grandmama.
Adventure. Yeah. Should have
I had
had
a
this.
7.
All right.
Snake, use the search box.
I know. Okay, it's fine. I'm here
Don't have a
now.
search box.
Yes, I'm here now.
Google
okay.
it.
One.
That's what
Use
D&D Beyond
Bing.
is for. Use the digital searching.
Control F, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
Pick something up.
So Jills, you
Yeah.
kind of go over to one of the model boats and take a better look at it. It's the one with the red dragon carved as the figurehead.
Okay.
And you're kind of sitting there and just looking at it for a second. And then as you stare at it, it begins to like kind of do an imitation of a roll over the waves.
Mm-hmm.
And then you watch as the little dragon figurehead on it actually spurts out a little bit of flame from its mouth. And
It's
you said
counterintuitive for a wooden boat.
you said you rolled a 6, right, Jeff? Or 7?
7.
All right. You go over to another one in the figurehead area, and it's appears to be a knight in full plate armor, with a sword and shield kind of crossed in his hand, a la a pharaoh kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you stare at it for a second, and it also begins that moving. And after a couple seconds, the knight on the front eyes light up under the helmet, and it kind of reaches back and climbs onto the deck of the boat, sword and shield drawn.
This is interesting.
Sal,
Hey,
come here. Come look at dragon. It is very cute. It breathes fire.
it is.
Also,
Boat.
since I have the symbol on the envelope, and knowing that I'm not in Saltmarsh anymore, just gonna look and see if I happen to see anything that looks like the seal around.
Make a perception check.
Okay.
I wonder
11.
how they do that without burning place
No,
down.
nothing really catching your eye. Cube rolled a 2.
Yep.
All
That's my
right.
average roll tonight.
Yeah, you've not been having a good night. You go over and see a boat, and on the middle mast of your little model boat, there's a white, kind of like a crystal in the middle of it. And it also kind of does that animating, but instead of it being like rolling over the waves, it just kind of sits there and you see the sails are like falling flats. And after a couple seconds, the crystal lights up and the sails immediately go to full billow.
Okay.
And yeah. Did you roll a d20, Hobble?
Oh, no.
Like, I mean, if you don't want to, you don't have to. I was just asking if you did.
No, I didn't know.
Okay. Did you want to?
Are you browsing?
Yeah, essentially, are you looking around this shop, or do you just kind of want to stand there and wait? Because either's fine. I'm just asking.
I think I'm going to keep my gold and just make sure nothing is amiss or starts to go ay and attack.
The little dragon is so cute.
It is, but it's probably stupid expensive. But
Of course it's stupid expensive. I'm not saying we buy it. We do not buy every cute kitten we walk by on street.
yes, but this is dragon kitten. There is a difference.
Dragon kitten.
That's very valid.
There is
Yeah.
I mean, this is Hobble we're talking about.
there is a big
Yes.
difference between regular kitten and dragon kitten.
All right. So it takes about 15 or so minutes for Jebediah to finish talking with the people he's talking to. They end up, you see, obviously the resolution of a deal of some sorts and the agreement, and Jebediah escorts them to the door and sees them off. When they open the door, you see a snow-covered mountain off in the distance from the shoreline that building is on, and that's all you just catch that little bit of a glimpse as he shuts the door behind them and then turns to you all. Well, back already. You all looking for anything in particular, or you're just hoping to browse, or you know what? You probably want to speak to Wisbel, don't you?
We did want to speak to this bolt. But I have been very entertained looking at little dragon on the model on ship.
You should see the real ones.
I should. This is very fascinating. I still don't have enough money to purchase it, but I am enjoying looking and you know, if I happen into some sort of, you know, grand adventure and lots of gold, maybe this will be interesting to me. I will not forget.
Possibly. Although I will say there is a minimum ship requirement size in order to be able to outfit that particular. Actually, most of the figurehead modifications we do, but you should see that thing spout its flame. It's. So.
I only have small jolly boat. Is big enough for about 8 people, give or take. But
I'm
it's very
comparing the
nice.
size of
It's-
boats over there.
Yeah, it's a bit
Listen,
small.
it is not my fault I have small boat. I was born this
Master
way.
rating.
All right. You can just kind of see Jebediah's like, okay. Well, Wiz asked me if you all come by to just go ahead and take you back to him. So, shall we?
Shall
He
we dance?
takes you back into the little workshop area, and it's at a glance cleaner. At a longer glance, everything that's not the constructs you brought him has just been shoved into a corner. So, and you just see him with like his really thick goggles on and a pair of like those jewelers magnifiers they wear? It's a pair of those on top of those, and he's just like looking on the inside of the construct that's in mostly one piece. And
Holy
once you-
Loser.
Once you guys enter, he looks over. It's like, oh, and he raises his one goggles. You guys are back. Well, I've had some ideas. Haven't found out much in the way of where these things came from, but I've got ideas. So,
Fistbolt Clock Topper, Merrick Bilgewater.
pleasure.
Right.
Anyway, well, I'm assuming you guys are probably here for me to tell you what I've found.
I'm very curious. Also, fun small question. We went back to place where we were ambushed and found a note that, looking at it, reminded me of the kind of work you do. Merrick, do you want to see if he can read your letter that you opened?
Sure. I'll hold it out. Could you understand this?
He takes it and kind of goes and looks at the envelope. And it's like, wait, how do you alloy metal with paper? And it just kind of trails off and opens it up and looks at the letter, skims through. Well, I can read some of this, although
Just the common bits?
no, there's some Gnomish on here, but
Oh,
I don't recognize this one language. I've never seen script that looks anything like this. Hmm.
Anything you can read will give us more information than we have. I would love to know who almost chopped me in half.
There's no name in the Gnomish part, which is not really surprising because from what I've found out on these, there's craftsmanship in these I've never seen before. Like these things are made with a level of perfection that should be impossible. It's I honestly have
Nerd
no
shit.
idea. Beyond that, it's like they were made perfect, which that's not how that works. Tell you what, let me. And he kind of goes over and grabs a
Sounds
piece
like
of
nerd
paper
shit.
and quickly
Exquisite nerd shit, but nerd shit.
he quickly kind of jots down what's in the gnomish section of the letter and folds it up and puts it back with the letter and hands it back to Merrick. But as he's handing it back, kind of takes a look at the mechanism on the envelope and just
I can show you how that works if you need a hand.
um no, it's and he just kind of pulls his little magnifier back down and takes a look at it and just this is that same level of craftsmanship on a much smaller scale. No maker's marks, at least not that I've seen.
And you don't know anything about the symbol? Because there was a symbol on the seal, right?
Yeah, there was, and well, let me actually quickly roll for that. I admittedly have no.
Wisbolt just like zones out into nerd shit land.
Yep, sorry, I'm trying to look up stuff. All right,
It's fine.
hold on.
It's super easy to imagine this character just.
Zoning out, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that meme with the lady with all the equations around her, and he's just
Yeah.
like he's just looking at this shit, and you just see like the Pythagorean theorem pop out of nowhere behind this gnome's head.
Yeah. Just like
Is there a good
suddenly complex theorems.
It's like the square root of I just pops up, or square root of -1 and an I and all that fun stuff. Somehow the equation that converts Celsius into Fahrenheit like pops up.
wanna use you.
Divide by 5/9 and add 32. Sure.
That's
Sounds
9/5
fine.
C plus 32. Yeah.
The Fahrenheit to Celsius is like the opposite-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna make something up.
The
I
power
can't find a
of
stat blocker I like
D&D.
right now, so...
Someday,
DMing 101.
someday you will learn not to tell us when you do that, and that
Yeah.
day will be perfection.
It's fine.
And we won't know.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Um...
It can't be me.
Alright,
Oh,
so
perfection.
he kind of stares at it, zones out for the better part of a minute, and then just kind of comes back. No, that can't be right. And he just kind of goes over to a shelf, pulls out a book, kind of flips through it. No, that's someone has to just be using that. No, there's no way.
Using what?
This is a very niche thing, I'll admit. And the only thing I personally recognize, there is quite a bit of difference between the two symbols, but this is the only thing I think that's even remotely similar. And he kind of flips his book around, and it's a very, very old book.
Mhm.
And it's weathered, and none of the language on the actual page makes any sense. But it does have a map of the plains. But it's a very older version. Like, there are missing planes, and it's just... It looks like ancient history, more or less. And he kind of points
Like
to...
astral planes or like rolling hills?
Like the astral planes, yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure I
No,
understand.
that is fair. And he just kind of points to one on the left side. This is the only symbol that even is remotely similar, but I can't actually read what the book says about it, so I don't know. But it's yeah.
If I roll a 20, I might have some idea of what Mechanus is. That's a 10. Never mind. I do not know anything.
Yeah. No. Honestly, even if you did roll a 20, I don't think your character would know anyway.
No.
Like, and he just kind of goes off. Someone just has to be using that to draw attention away from themselves, because that doesn't make sense. Because there are different. Anyway, do you mind?
Understand, I am stupid. I am good with swinging axe, but the 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 nerd shit eludes me. Can you say what you are saying, but in stupid, please?
Someone wants to make it look like these things are from a different plane of existence.
Ah.
Do I need to go lower? I don't know. That's
But why? Why would you do that?
draw attention away from yourself, maybe. I'm
Huh.
I'm not actually sure. This, like I said, this is beyond what I can do.
Do you
If you
think
don't,
these are
go ahead.
actually from somewhere else, or
I don't think so. Like, realistically speaking, it's possible, I guess. I mean, on paper it makes sense, kind of, but you would have to jump a lot of planes to do that, and that's not
I
easy.
mean, is that like jumping planes? Is that like what Jeb is doing with this shop being in many places at once?
Kind of, but on a
Something
much
about tartar sauce or
larger,
something?
it's on a much larger scale, and this isn't technically changing what plane it's on. It's just changing where the door is connected to at the moment. But that's a story for another time.
All right, I do not mean to
So
pry
basically,
into
what you're saying is, whoever this is either very knowledgeable or very powerful or both.
I mean, that would make sense, yes.
All right.
Whoever it
Good
is a
enough.
heck of a craftsman, though, because these things are impressive. like the capacitors in these things alone can discharge a huge amount of electricity into a nearby area. And they seem to have an outside charging source of some sort, though I'm not sure what makes enough voltage to do that. But
I
My
look
eyes
over at
glaze
Elena.
over into Nerdship.
I look over at Elena. That's nerd shit for me.
I
sorry.
get- Wait,
do you all-
you said something about powerful zapping? Remo almost lit his nuts on fire.
We did. It was a terrible
Oh,
half
right.
smell.
We had that. They had a machine there.
What?
Oh, he'd probably want to look at the machine too.
Yep. So I'll get that out.
All right. So you just drop a Tesla coil in the middle of this guy's shop. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
I
just
still
kinda
gotta
looks-
charge it.
He just kind of looks over it for a second. I mean, yeah, that would do it. Anyway, two things. One, do you mind if I hold on to this letter?
What did you say?
Sure. Can we hold on to the translation you made for us?
Yeah, here. And he gives that back. I will give that to you guys next week. So before you left, you did ask me to take a look at possibilities for these things.
Yes,
And
what did you find?
well, I did a little bit of tinkering because that's what I do. And I also did some checking with some areas that I think are around Saltmarsh, and I came up with a couple options. Now I don't have. Some of these are a little bit more complicated than the others. In the way of armor, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm pretty sure if you guys try to melt this down in the slightest, it'll break whatever magical enchantment is on the plates, which would render them essentially a weaker version of normal armor, because bronze is not the best compared to steel and iron. So,
All
Could-
right.
I could, between the two of these, fix one. I could probably get that working, and then change out a couple of the glyphs internally, which would let it become one of your alls. That would require a couple of things I don't keep on hand, but is, well, it's an idea. Another one, and he kind of goes over to a sketchbook and pulls it out and kind of flips through it, and essentially it looks like it takes the two digging arms off the front of the thing and kind of puts one on like a gauntlet on each hand, and also like has some of the what you can assume is the internal stuff on the gauntlets themselves. This was an idea that I kind of ran with. It would allow you to, again, in theory, and none of this is tested, maybe absorb or like send out small jolts of arcane, and the hands on the front could help you with like digging or climbing. And if with the right construction, this could maybe also absorb a little bit of that electricity, although that's not something that is just something I can do. And they're admittedly a bit dangerous if you do that, but when it comes to armaments, that's probably your best option. Alternatively,
Elena takes Merrick from like beside her and just like, listen, I do not speak nerd. I am confused. I am getting headache. If I get headache, this could be bad.
Look,
But-
I know this is gonna blow your mind, but there's more than one kind of nerd, and this ain't mine.
just techno
Oh,
rambling. This is great.
this is
just-
beautiful. I love this.
Okay. He
All
kind
right,
of picks up on the conversation. All right.
we'll
Let
be
me.
back. Maybe.
No, Visbold,
Here.
I do not mean to be offensive. I am very grateful that you have spent time doing this, and this sounds very cool. But I don't understand.
All right. Well, let me try and simplify this then.
Okay.
Armor's a bad idea.
Yeah, that I understood. That was
Okay.
simple. I'm
All right.
smart enough for
right.
this.
I think I can fix one of these.
Yes.
and then I could let it be one of your alls with a couple of changes.
That I get too. Something
Okay.
about absorbing magic and electron.
all right.
I thought that was
hold on.
bad music. I don't
But
know.
being dexterous.
He kind of goes through the
yeah.
one that's a pile of scraps and pulls out. Essentially, this is gonna sound weird coming from me, but you know what? Like a radio tube, like the glass tubes that they used to have in like radios and stuff, like way back.
Like a
out of
CRT.
character, sure. In
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, it looks like one of those, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But he's pulling this out of a pile and showing us.
Yeah,
You're
out of a
talking about
pile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just kind of pulls that out. This holds electricity. This holds lightning.
Is like seashell? You put it up to ear and hear music?
No.
Oh, it's like what
No.
almost singed his balls.
Oh, okay,
Sure.
like lightning. Okay.
Lightning. This can
Okay.
hold lightning. I think I can.
Oh, I did that before. That hurt a lot. I remember.
Would make sense. This can hold quite a punch. I think, emphasis on think, I can make it so I can turn one of these into a glove that does that. And
That
I've
sounds cool.
admittedly got a
Grandmama.
little fancy, and the arms on the front that it uses to dig, I think I can modify to help people climb.
You mean you can give me the ability to make Thunder Punch?
Essentially.
That sounds
Th-
epic.
Could we call it Le Chocolat?
We need this in life, Grandmama. You need this in life, Grandmama. You'll have lots of fun with this.
Well, I haven't worked out all of the details yet. And I admittedly have a much fancier design that I like to overcomplicate things, let's be honest.
No, really? I
You
never
don't
could have
say.
guessed this.
Yeah. I'm working on a design using some of the extra parts that is what you just said, but a little bit bigger. So, alright. You guys
Okay.
seem to like that last idea, though. Well, you can wait 2 minutes. We're almost done.
All the ideas are good. I'm not trying to jump to premature decision. I am merely listening. Thunder Punch sounds fun.
Well, I'm working on a fancier design that may be able to take lightning and channel. No, channel's not the right word. I guess no, the right word is absorb it.
You
What?
mean like this? And I rage and start zapping stuff? Oh, sorry. And then just like
You watch as one of the little lightning bolts off of your rage goes into the capacitor that he's holding. It just lights up and clears like a bright blue.
just like Granny is now like slightly wrapped in lightning, right? And just angry and kind of foaming at the mouth slightly.
Okay, that's gonna give me
Alright.
nightmares for weeks. Cool.
Alright, I will not make Grandma angry.
And
I told you this.
since the lightning went away and like made pretty lights, I kind of do it again.
Yeah. No, but the one lightning bolt that does go off of you and into the little tube he's holding, and it does light up because of it, and yeah, that should be able to work. Kind of runs through a design in his head. You just kind of see him do some mental calculations.
The equations are showing up again.
Yeah. And he just kind of snaps out of it. Right. So that's definitely an option, although that would have a lot more complicated logistical details in the end of the day. Kind of very carefully puts down the now charged tube. Gotta figure out how
I
to
turn
start.
to Sal and just kind of go.
Are you going to calm down? I give you cookie if you calm down, and please don't shock anybody. Oh no, wait. You haven't made that yet. That was an option.
Any electricity that
Oops.
comes off of you
Uh-huh.
either goes to the Tesla coil or one of the constructs.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Very neat.
Well, okay. Another option. I'm interested in these. I won't lie. I don't know what they're worth, because these are the first time I've ever seen these. But if you all end up not wanting them, I would like to work out a deal of some sort. But ultimately, what happens with them is your decision. But I will say, I do like this design. And he kind of shows a picture of one of them turned into like a single arm half plate with like the two claws coming off of the fronts and like a little like an Iron Man kind of looking thing in the middle of the palm. I do like this. I won't lie.
It sounds very cool. I will agree with Grandmama.
Cool.
I am a big fan of gold, personally. Although I could also get behind Le Chocolat.
I believe what the kids nowadays say is "Porque lo nos dos."
Oh my god. Jills just did that. I heard that with my own 2
Okay.
ears.
I'm trying to think what D&D language that would be considered in.
Porky, not the two.
Except I said it the way that Steak has been saying it.
Which is intentionally wrong.
Yes.
Like my classic also of no hablos espanoles.
Yeah.
Porque Doritos.
Taco Bell.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. Okay. Anyway,
No.
enough terrible Spanish.
And yeah, so Wizbolt's just kind of there. I don't need an answer right away. I am going to continue looking through these though, because there is some very interesting things in these. But I don't
And
need
the
an answer
paper,
on what.
too.
Yeah,
Metal paper.
yeah. I don't know how the heck you managed to alloy paper with a metal without setting the paper on fire. But
Magic,
whatever,
don't
that's-
question it. Let it go.
Yeah, it probably is magic, but I want to know what magic, because like, if
Well, let's leave you to your devices. Clearly you'll be able to do some better thinking without us in your way, and quite honestly, I think my brain is going to explode. So,
it's a very common
perhaps we
reaction to
should
being in here.
both get back to what we do better.
All right. Well, when you all do have a decision, feel free to come see me. You know where to find me.
Thank you,
Sort of.
Wisbolt. Well, yes. Actually, if I wanted to come in through the regular door, how far would I have to travel?
Well, you guys are in Saltmarsh, right? That would be about a month and a half on the sea. And then about another take the trade routes. If you're lucky, you can catch the currents.
Oh no, we asked a question.
Maybe if you beeline it here in one of the faster ships on the ocean, a month.
All right.
You
I guess we
said-
will use the traditional doorway, or the non-traditional doorway then.
Yeah, it really is quicker. It's, I. So, but anyway, when you do have an answer, don't hesitate. Come tell me. I will get working on it. I will say again for the repair and probably for that like gauntlet idea, I might need some extra parts, but we can talk about that if you decide to take them. So.
Certainly. Thank you.
And once your little conversation wraps up, Jebediah is again waiting outside, and as you're getting ready to leave, another person or another two people come in again in a much different naval kind of attire, but still kind of like official and military. You kind of catch it's more of a tropical area they're from. So, and they shut the door behind him, and Jebediah comes over, introduces himself, asks for a moment, and then rebinds the door for Saltmarsh and opens it for you all. And then immediately goes back to dealing with business with the other two. So,
Thank you, Jeb.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
you too, or night, or again, time zones. Fine.
Time zones?
Don't ask
It's
Grandma,
more of that
let's just
tartar
go.
sauce
Yes.
crap, isn't it?
Tartar sauce.
I just walk out the door.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah. So you come back out to the briny fish smell of Saltmarsh, the ocean to your side, and we should probably call it there.
Yes.
We will pick up next week with the stakeout, unless you guys have anything you want to do in particular for prep.
No, but Steak's in because he's DM.
Har har.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seriously.
stakeout next week
yeah.
sounds good.
All right.
This was
Yeah.
fun. I had a good time. Thank you.
I'm getting better with
Have fun.
times, guys.
Yeah.
I also had a good time.
Yes. It's very fun. Glad to be a part of it.
We have new team member.
We do.
Team.
Yeah. You have an ally.
You've got an ally in me.
Okay.
Alright, so we're shutting down, and I am still in voice. So first person is Cube. He had Corgo.
Hi.
Many time.
He had
Yes.
Corgo.
And then we have Jills, who had Pondo. Couple times.
Bundle.
She's grandmama. She has the chancla.
Oh,
Our new
she's
person,
in...
Perfectus.
Nope.
Yep, that went beard. And our DM, who we never see his face, even though every now and then his character looks like it's having a stroke, is Steak.
Fine. It's fine. Wait, which one of these was the background? That was the background. Okay.
Yep.
No. Wait, hold
Now
on.
he's drunk. Great.
Hold on.
Yep, he is drunk.
Okay. Here we go.
The Blair Steak Project.
We appreciate you all coming to enjoy us do things of D&D and tomfoolery. You all have a good night.
Yarb.
Have a good day.
I already waved. Bye.
Bye.